Hello, everyone, and welcome to the premiere of Blood Price, our new VTM game here on Table of Horrors, specifically our new Sabbat game. I am joined today by my lovely players Nexus, played by Theresa Rave, Edith Mau Mau, played by Ms. Hearts, Andre of course I can't say your last name. Andre, played by Lord Rodon. It's not my games that a little bit of scuff. And Austin Chef Bourdain, played by Black Coffee Chase. Ooh, spicy times. So, pardon my brain as it begins to work again. So, as we enter in with all of our lovely players, there we go. We are arriving in Hillingdon, which is a borough in the Greater London area. Havering? Is it Havering or Hillingdon? Suddenly I don't remember. It's my notes. It's in my notes. I'm staring at it. We're in the Greater London area. Our pack of Canaanites live in a smaller area that's been updated very recently in the last couple years to be far more from the rural to very shopping center-esque. They live along a small open-air mall. In this location, not only is there an old church and graveyard, sort of a interesting place for tourists to go see, there is a grand, lovely restaurant known as the Marrow that is the other very big interest, and also a lovely little cat cafe. As the night begins, how are you all? Oh, first things. Roll rouse to wake up. I remember. Oh dear.
Where's Rouse on this sheet?
Oh dear.
Right underneath your hunger. It's like underneath your skills. There's hunger, and then right beneath that is Rouse check.
It looks like everyone's getting hungry tonight. Oh dear. This is going to be interesting.
It's the start.
It's the very start. We all gotta get hungry when it first starts. So, now that you all have awoken and are gaining hunger, as it were, what are you all doing this evening?
Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Well,
Go ahead.
I wake up and go into the back room of the cafe, check on all the cats, make sure that they are fed, pet each one, and see which one is most lovey and wants to come along with me for the night.
We're going to say it's a very cute silver tabby.
That would be Mr. Fluffykins.
I love that name. Okay.
I'm gonna start picking people.
Alright.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
yeah.
Sorry.
Andre will go on ahead and do what he normally does when he first wakes up. He'll go ahead and look for parts of the most freshly dug up graves. Because he woke up a smidge hungry.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Two.
the shovel,
Okay.
dig it on up, toss it over his shoulder, not a care in the goddamn world. Carry it back to his crypt that he calls his haven.
Going to get ready at the Marrow. I'm going to make sure that all the prep, everything else is ready to go for tonight, just in case I have to step away. And probably be communicating with my ghoul, Julia.
Nexus will be stepping out of her large SUV. She's wearing an all-black dress. Her skin is nearly moon white, with hair just as pale. Her nails like claws as she click-clacks across the stone of the sidewalks, heading towards the Marrow, which is where she likes to start her evening every night. She walks by the beginning queue, as the restaurant has probably just opened up for the evening, walks past the butchery that's right in the front where people are actively doing their job. She walks through the front of house without ever saying anything to the hostess or any of the other people that work there, and walks through the double doors straight into the kitchen to the table that's set on the side that's reserved for special guests and family. And she will sit there and just wait patiently for when Chef and the others can come to her.
After all the cats are fed, I will walk over to the restaurant as well and enter in through the back door. Mr. Fluffkins in hand.
After Andre goes ahead and sates a bit of his own hunger, he'll also stride through the back door after clacking his heavy boots just outside, tracking in as little dirt inside as he can, but there's still some kind of hiding under his nails. As he sits down and just relaxes back into a chair.
Yeah, Austin would be prepping and cooking and getting everything, setting the table, with plates, make sure it's good. Setting a looks like a beverage in front of everyone as well. And we will have a family-style meal tonight.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Rest well.
Oh, I rest as well as I ever do. What are you cooking for us, Chef?
This is these are blood noodles and it's a bit of sauce reduced with wine and blood, of course. But I'm working on boba. Motions you to the cup, and there's blood boba, but it looks like there's eyeballs in it.
Nexus sees this, and there's a look of wild delight on her face, and she grabs it a little bit too fast, and begins to. She drinks it, savors it as a sign of respect to Chef, but then is purposely trying to fish one of the boba eyes out, because that's her favorite. And when she manages to, she plucks it into her mouth and just closes her eyes and allows herself to enjoy what's been created. Perfect as ever, Chef. You did a magnificent job.
I'll take a tentative sip to make sure it tastes okay. And then once I decide I like it, I'll try a little bit of the regular blood boba. And then I will attempt to suck one of the eyeballs up through the straw.
Munching away, just enjoying what's been served. I think that Nexus probably has a Rolodex, basically, of things that need to be checked out and taken care of for the restaurant, and she will lift it up and just hold it there, knowing that probably Julie will come by and snatch it, as she's Chef's sous chef. So we'll just hold it up there, and it's everything from inventory to making sure financial things are in order, and just a take this, motion.
Yeah, I'm going to be listening, but I'm going to be watching the kitchen like a hawk for any mistakes.
Andre, being the little gremlin that he is, will wait till everybody else starts eating, take a little sip, and then like scoop some of the boba, not with this like from the cup, into his mouth like a meshed up chopstick, just like goes right for the eye and just this massive squish.
Isn't it great? The texture is just right. As they're like actively, like no decorum whatsoever, actively like fishing into the dredges of what's left of the blood to grab the eyeballs out. And is at that point just kind of like looking at it before she chomps another. Julie.
You know, of all of us,
Oh.
I did not expect to call you the animal.
I have my things I like.
Everyone can choose
Don't
how
you?
they enjoy their meal.
Thank you, Chef. Julie.
I'm correct. That is checking my notes. Like that's the ghoul, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
Julia.
Oh, Julia. I'm so sorry. Julia. Yeah. Got it.
Your Venture.
Yes.
It's a human. You don't have to remember.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Everything look right on that to you? Nothing's overstocked. Nothing's missing. Everything looks good?
Let's see. Yes, I believe so. I don't see anything wrong.
Good. I would hate for there to be another mistake.
I will not allow another mistake in this kitchen.
Good girl. Right, so, anyone got plans for this evening?
You need to talk with Max to get things in order for the grand ball. I'm going to be catering. I know we just had it, but it's never too early to plan.
Wait, are you planning something that he does not have a watch on his? He's actively looking at it. That 350 something days. Is that's
It's
what?
practically next week.
There's a lot involved.
If you don't
right?
manage your time, it will manage you.
Mm-hmm. That's right. We only do perfection here. So all the time you need, you take.
Yeah, and of course, if there's any leads on my sire, she's missing from me.
Yes, I've been searching. I've had people looking about for her. Storyteller.
Yes.
Have I had any news about where the sire is hiding?
Yes, actually. Recently, your sources have been getting very... The worst part is it's almost like very scattered views of Dolly.
Mhm.
Dolly has been cited in multiple boroughs, specifically recently Westminster a lot, which is odd given the fact that that's the Knight Raphael's district, and he certainly does not like Dolly. He doesn't like a lot of any of what he considers traitors or failures, which most of the knights believe Dolly is.
I see. Okay. So Nexus will say to Chef, I've got some news. She seems to be popping up here and there and everywhere in London, but mostly in Westminster, which is Raphael's district, we'll call it. He's not a fan of her, so should she really rear her head, he will snatch it.
Raphael, you say?
Yes.
As you all
We
are
could
having
always-
this...
No, you're good. Go.
Well, in the middle of your conversation, one of the hostesses, and the Marrow actually does have multiple just because you always want someone at the front, even if someone else is taking people to tables. It just looks better to always have a greeter. One of the hostesses comes running back through the kitchen and immediately, very respectfully to Chef, just head down. Chef, someone has entered the restaurant and immediately
please
stated...
stop. And
Sorry.
I'm gonna get eerily close to her, and I'm going, "Don't you ever run at this fucking restaurant."
I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I was very
You're
scared
sorry.
and I wasn't thinking.
Mhm.
This individual, they're horrifying. I'm sorry, that's horrible to say. And right as she's like shaking, like she looks shaken
Mhm.
by something, busting through the kitchen doors. Well, not busting, it's more just, he's not trying to like throw them open aggressively. He's just very pushing, and he just kind of enters in. Is a taller man, probably about, if not 6 feet, maybe just under it. Very long black hair that's currently tied back in some form of ponytail. He's wearing a longer white shirt, but it is so far open you can see down well to his very hip riding jeans. Black jeans and belt. You basically see everything. And he busts open the doors and goes, "All right. Where's my lovely Andre?" And Andre, you are very well. Everyone's aware this is Raphael. And it's rare to see a knight. Raphael's possibly one of the only knights that is so forward to just show up himself. Unlike the others, he does not have minions. He just feels the necessity to bust in. And as he enters in, the girl jolts, and as she turns to him, he doesn't run, he doesn't move you don't see him move. He just suddenly is at her, and he just touches her face, and he just says, "Dear, go back to what you were doing." And you watch her face completely drop. And she just, arms at her sides, walks right around him and back towards the front. He then immediately turns to Chef. "Chef, I'm so sorry." It was...
You are. I'll put down the cleaver.
I scared her a bit. I didn't mean it. But, well...
While he was doing his little charade here, Andre would in fact have gotten up, walked around, and is going in to bring Raphael for a big old bear hug.
Oh, Raphael is right in there. He's on you, like arms thrown around you, and he's just petting your hair. "Oh, Andre, my little one, how are you doing?"
It's the night is early. Night is very early.
"Oh, it is. And I slept like shit. Ended up in a fucking basement near here."
What are you doing in this neck of the woods?
Woo! That's a story. Oh, question. Chef, love, do you have any food I could enjoy?
Absolutely. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna prepare myself.
Oh, and the minute you like head off, he's very mixing between like smiling, but as he smiles, all of his teeth are sharp. And he
Aggressively
has
smiling.
like, oh yeah, and he has like, the best way to put Raphael is, on the surface, very clearly masculine figure, very underdressed is the best way to put him. But once you're up on him, not only are all of his teeth sharp, his eyes don't seem to move in his skull. He just twists his neck. Always. That's what he moves, not his eyes. And his longer nails, upon closer inspection, are far more like talons than someone's nails. And he comes sliding into a chair right next to Nexus and just kind of leans over to her. Nexus, you look beautiful tonight.
Don't I always?
True. I don't know, tonight just a little extra. And Amelia looks to Edith and is just like, goes, and the kitty. And pets Edith's head, but then also pets the cat.
I'll hold Mr. Fluffkins up so that he can pet him easier.
Ooh, such a cute
like that.
kitty.
Okay.
And he like stretches his back completely as he's like kind of leaning back in the chair. And most of you are used to this. Raphael is not one to hide his more Zamitzi nature. And so when he stretches, you kind of watch as his skin is actually kind of pulling in ways that it's not supposed to. And he kind of, he falls himself back into a normal, big air quotes, human shape. So, the reason I'm in Max's neck of the woods and had to sleep in a basement is because I have been on a bit of a hunt. A hunt that I think you would be interested in. Which is why I knew I needed to make a stop.
Nexus leans forward and one hand is like claws out on the table, sort of a gentle tapping coming from them, and she looks to him and she says, I'm listening.
Well, my lovely Westminster has been haunted by a... And he kind of just breathes in real hard and grits his teeth. Disgusting porcelain doll. And so I needed to make sure she was no longer in my home. But little bitch is fast for some reason. Chased her out here, asked Max for assistance, but Max has now been called away to London, as have Richard, Gabriel, and me, of course. Have to deal with Lord Asher, all the fun political stuff. Now, problem being, I have not been able to finish my little hunt. I have one last location I need to search. Now, I don't think she's fucking there, but I do think there might be some information. And I figure, since I know your pack has a bit of a vested interest in her location, maybe you'd like to do a little job for me.
I think at this moment I
Well.
appear and I put the plate in front of him.
What was that, Chase? You're a little quiet.
Sorry, I think at this moment I appear and I put the plate in front of them.
Right.
Is it? And is the same food that you had given everyone else with the? Oh, he just looks at it and it's just immediately eating. He is starving. Clearly, he's eating like he's not ever eaten before.
Speaking of, can we say to hunger?
Yes.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Yeah, I think like as he's munching, I let him get into it for a little bit before I say, you were correct to say that we have a vested interest. We absolutely do. We'd be more than happy to take the job.
I knew you would be. And like he like licks his hands. He's not used silverware this whole time. And obviously, again, his little things. His tongue is too long. His jaw doesn't move right. He has no qualms about not looking fully human. He almost seems to enjoy it.
probably the reason why the hostess got a little scared when meeting.
You can kind of infer that that might not have been an ability. That was simply, she may have come face to face with literally one of the most lethal things in the greater city, and, you know, rightfully lost it.
We will
Mr.
be
Fluffkins?
taking care of her therapy. Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Fluffkins will jump down off my lap, walk over to him, and put his paws up on his leg, like asking for a lick.
Raphael leans over and, like, with, like, some of his food and lets the cat have it, but also picks the cat up and sits him in his lap and just starts petting it. I love your cat so much.
He's such a sweetie.
He is. Oh. Okay. I've eaten. Oh, goodness. I need more, but I'll do that when I get back to London. So, little thing need you to do. A little ways down, and Nexus, you're probably going to be a bit displeased with this. There is a burned out church. Only really thing standing is a lot of its stone pieces. Even that's mostly collapsed. But somewhere around there's not only been sightings of Dolly herself, but sightings of known dolls of hers. There's something there. That was the last location I needed to check before the sun decided I didn't need to move anymore.
Right, well. Other than Dolly and possibly her little creations, is there anything else you need us to get while we're in the area? And you can see, like, Nexus is unhappy because she knows where this location is. And if Dolly's there, she's like, it's going to be a bad night for a lot of people. She's unhappy. But she's upholding professionalism as best she can.
Yes. There's a few things there. The last thing sighted, that I actually sighted, was one of her dolls that she... And he kind of grips his hand and you kind of watch the bones creak. That she stole from me. One of my perfect little ones, who would have joined us in the night had she not ruined him. So, that's something I was a bit displeased on. Last time I saw him, he was headed over there, but again, sun, awful, easy to know. The other things that are in there are most likely a few files that my lovely brother Gabriel wants. And then possibly some notes from Dolly herself. Maybe even clues to her current location. Maybe you would like those as a bit of a prize for this work.
We'll be happy to handle this for you, of course.
How are we going to take care of your lost possession?
Since Dolly had him for a few weeks, I don't think he's salvageable anymore.
And how would be... I wouldn't want to... When I'm taking care of things, I want them to be precise. I don't think your... whatever needs to suffer. So how would I best do this task?
Execute my little one quickly. He was loyal for years.
Fire. Hammer.
Fire. The dolls aren't really... The dolls are almost always something weak. I don't think she really turns anything. She prefers them to be useless. So, take the head off, shoot it, stab it, he'll die.
Rip it
There
limb
is
from the-
there's an exchanged look between Nexus and Chef at the comment of she likes things useless, knowing that that is his sire, and feeling like, ooh, maybe not the best time to get upset, as there's a little bit of like almost a telepathic of like, wait it out, do not react. But yes, an exchanged look at that comment before Nexus says, right, we will execute your artwork, and then we'll handle the rest. The files that your brother wants, he wants them delivered to him, or
Yes.
send it through the mail?
He would prefer them delivered. They're rather sensitive and easily destructible. They're old.
Understood.
So all you need to do is just take them off to Gabriel's sanctuary. Oh, hold on. And he kind of reaches like all the way into his shirt and down into somewhere he's keeping something. And he pulls out. It's not the same as like Andre, you have a shield from Raphael, and it's a very specific kind of amulet that's metal. This is more like a card, like almost a business card, just sort of little rounder. It's pure paper. And he passes it over to Nexus. Pop that towards the door. They'll let you in. Gabriel will be expecting you, but that just gets you past the door guards.
She will take that, slip it into her dress, and then nod and say, all right then, if that's all, we'll take care of it. You can count on us.
Oh, I know I can. And he finishes his food and he stands up and he leans over to Nexus, like in her ear, and it's just, remember, I'm always in your corner. And he stands up and he actually starts heading for the back door. And as he walks away, he just sort of waves. Food was delicious, chef, as always. And he slips out the back door, and as the back door is closing, you all hear a crunching and soft, gooey noise. And then what sounds like a large bird taking off. Just the beat of a massive wing.
After he had gotten very close, Nexus would have become like statue still, and she would not have moved until he left the restaurant. And once he did, she just like her hands curl into fists and her nails cut into her palms. If she could go white knuckled, she would. And it's there's like a little bit of, it's a bit of rage, because while Raphael, is technically in her and this pack's corner, she is keenly aware that it is never for free. And so she doesn't like being indebted to people. So the idea of that kind of being hung over her head fills her with a little bit of anger. And then she looks to the group and says, well, looks like we have plans for tonight. You all ready to go?
Grab a couple of things.
I think I'm ready.
All right then. Go on, Chef. Get what you need. What is it, Edith?
Come on, Mr. Fluffkins. You want to come?
Meow.
I'm assuming that's a yes, so.
Yeah, that's a yes.
I tell Chef, we'll meet you by the car, and I will walk out pushing open that that sort of front double doors into the main room, like I own the place, because I kind of do. But I walk through, happy to see that everybody's having a good time and enjoying their meals, and then proceed to go to the car.
Yeah, I get some oil, a bottle of alcohol, a lighter, my knives, a couple of miscellaneous things, and then I go up to Julia and ask her if I'm going to step away for a while. Do you have this?
She quickly, without ever stopping, pardon me, without ever stopping, like, doing some chopping and prepping work to do a dish, she quickly looks to you and goes, "I got it, chef. You can always count on me."
Thank you, chef. And with that, I turn around and walk out.
So everyone heads out towards the, I believe next is a black SUV.
Mm-hmm. Black tinted windows. The inside is very expensive leather with gold threading, and there is a it's the basically the anti-tribute symbol for Ventru in gold in the steering wheel.
Oh yeah, that's some venture shit right there.
It's expensive, you know. It's expensive.
We're in some real venture hours. So every one of you enters in, piling into the SUV. Nexus, I assume you're driving. I assume Chef's probably passenger seat.
Yeah.
There's plenty of room for everybody in the back. There's probably a special little, like, bed for one of the cats. In this case tonight, it's Fluffykins over here. But yeah. But there's always a cat with us, so we try to accommodate.
So you all enter into the car. Nexus, you start that up. You go driving off. Next, you are very aware of which church this is. It is an old church that stood abandoned for many, many years until one time, and about maybe a year and a half ago, whole thing went up in flames one night. No one knows if it was accidental. There wasn't a storm. Could have been arson. No one really cared. Property was, whoever does own it, doesn't really matter, it seems. Just sort of left it. It's maybe only, and Nexus, this definitely gets to you, the fact that Dolly was this close. It's maybe only a 5-minute drive. If that. It is very, very close to this area.
We could have walked here.
Yeah. We could have, but, you know, not in these heels, you know what I'm saying? So we drive.
And this is, once you've gotten past a certain point, this is a gravel pathway. You are eventually finding, like, a proper dirt. Let's say it's not even gravel anymore. It's a dirt path. You turn the SUV up, and you're driving up here. You can see in the distance the various pillars that were left over from this church. One very specific section is clearly, seemingly still holding up a stained glass window. Somehow it survived. It's very vivid from the front. You all pull up. It sits in the distance. And as you all get out of the car... Let's see, my brain's not working today. I would like everyone to make wits awareness.
Like to use heightened senses.
Should we put a difficulty in?
Nah. dear.
Okay.
Hopefully not me trying to remember everything. I'm an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Chef, you were using heightened senses, correct?
Mhm.
I remember. Is that a
Correct.
rouse to turn it on?
It is not a rouse.
It's free.
It's for free.
It's passive.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna willpower that.
So, Chef and Edith, you both don't see. Oh,
2 successes.
no. Neither one of you hear anything specific. The other two, you can hear, even from this far away, there is clearly a ragged breathing. It's muffled, but it's clearly breathing. It does not sound like a human, unless that mortal is very, 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 very sick.
Can either of us tell where it's coming from?
I'll give that
like a
immediately.
direction.
There's only one area it can be coming from. It's very directional. It's coming from the church building itself.
Okay.
Andre gets a big old smile and just starts walking towards, just being like, "This is going to be fun."
I think there is just a sort of letting those who aren't aware where the sound is coming from by simply pointing to the area and then saying, well, he doesn't want it back, so we kill it. Make it
I'm gonna
quick.
open my sense of smell up to the universe and see what does this thing smell like.
I'm gonna give, because it's heightened senses, I'm not gonna make you roll for it. There is a very clear smell of fresh blood coming from the church land.
There's blood.
Maybe it got itself a snack. Maybe Dolly left it with one. And I will take off my shoes and put them in the car, and I will shut the door and start to walk barefoot towards the church.
Barefoot? You wouldn't have a second pair of shoes stashed?
If that's a thing, is I do, but they're also designers. So it's this little sort of nod to the fact that like there was a point in Nexus's life where they were comfortable with walking barefoot and getting dirty, and being who they are now has afforded them a much higher lifestyle, and so but when they have to get gutter, they get gutter, you know what I'm saying? So they sort of prep themselves for like things might get a little crazy, and ruining designer shoes for what? So yeah, barefoot and moving. But you are right to call out that she does have like extra clothes in the car.
Just don't need to mess up the designer stuff. Is there any other preparations anyone wants to make before approaching the church completely?
Yes.
Getting ready for fight things?
Toughness. I will activate toughness, which is arouse.
Yeah, I activate rapid reflexes, which is free, and get my knives out.
I'll allow that.
Yeah, so we activate toughness, and you guys can see that Nexus gets, even though she's wearing this like very nice dress, you can see, especially in her arms, she she becomes more more muscular, like more defined in the musculature, and you can kind of see the corded veins like in her forearms, and she just overall becomes a little bit more steely in her appearance.
I'll also activate prowess.
Mm-hmm. Doing much the same. Activating the combat stims, potence, prowess on. Hold on, what was the other one? Weapons on. Normally, Andre looks kind of like lean. Muscles grow to twice the size. Fingers grow into active claws. Teeth become like barrel. He's ready. But I will need 2 of these. All right.
We'll walk directly behind my ductus.
All right. That was everyone's preps.
Mm-hmm. We move. I will say, I'm not like strutting towards this place because I'm actively aware that there's something here that might launch at us. And so I'm moving, but definitely, moving with care.
All right. You all approach the church grounds, passing through what was once a busted stone archway, but has lost its keystone years ago. The area inside, though basically gone, any wood has disappeared, you can still see the charred remains, the areas in this dusty, dirty stone floor where there were pews and an altar, where there were windows. There's glass on the floor in various areas. There's also, very, very obviously, a lot of blood and disturbed dirt everywhere. If anyone who wants to look through it can roll me investigation and intelligence.
We all got it.
Andre's actively looking for the sound of this heavy breathing. He couldn't care less about whatever else is in there.
I mean, I'll roll it. I'm not good at it. I have
Edith
2
got
dice
it.
full.
Edith
Got
rolled.
Okay.
Edith,
You're saved.
Curious, I'll look at anything.
right?
Mhm.
Edith, as you're looking around, you let... I assume you still have Mr. Fluffikins with you?
Yes, of course.
Ah,
He would have followed
as
me.
you're... Oh, God, of course. As you are walking around, the Silver Tabby jumps down and kind of looks around along with you. And you watch him as he moves, and you see that he keeps avoiding. Like, he's a smart cat. He avoids things on the ground, little glass shards. And you start to see, once you're watching, a pattern start appearing. And you can tell that there is one set of footprints that is most definitely some normal, like regular person sized, and something else that almost seems like it has 3 toes on one foot, 5 on the other. It's wrong. It doesn't stand correctly. You can see that it just seems to slide everywhere in this area. There's scatters, there's claw marks in stone. And you can see that this fight, whatever it was, started at what would be the entrance to this church. You all entered the side. This is over towards another. And it followed along until finally it ends in front of the altar. And you can find in the stone possibly one of the only pieces of wood left in this church. There is a trapdoor.
So I'll look down at the footprints. Like, there was a fight here, and I'm like stepping along with them, recreating the fight until I get over to the door. There is a door right there.
And once the door is pointed out, not only can everyone see the proper square of it, but kind of with a lot of the dirt disturbed, there is a circular ring-like pole that's kind of sunken in, like it has a crevice that it lies in, so it's flat. And you could reach in and pull it up easily. And you can see that there are very clear claw marks on just the edge, kind of like where the handle is along the side, and seemingly dipping down to where the front of it would be, though you can't fully see because it is still stuck in the ground.
I will open the door, but only a little bit to be able to peek in and see if I see anything.
Roll me wits awareness.
Good, that's my better dice pool.
Would like to aid you because I'm also looking at this.
Oh, I did not add a +1 for the aid, though.
Nope. You can roll one more if you want.
Crit.
Yeah.
That would be messy if it's correct.
Messy crit.
Oh dear
Okay,
God.
it would be.
You can also.
So do I roll
the
just one more
3
die?
dice.
Yeah, just roll
Yeah.
one more die. No.
It's a failure.
You do
You
not.
can choose to reroll the 3 if you do willpower reroll.
Yeah, you could willpower it.
Sure.
Yeah, I might as well do that. Is there a willpower? Yes, there is. Okay. And I'm gonna, roll 3 die.
Nice.
Hey.
You do hear something. As you open up the door just enough, you can hear the sounds of very wet crunching. And there's also, like, in between, like, proper crunches, there's a sound not dissimilar to the way a cat sounds as it's eating. Cats don't always tend to bite. Sometimes there's that very specific noise of their tongue being used to lick up whatever it is. And there's just this awful kind of mix. It kind of makes you feel uncomfortable because it's feline and not at the same time. And once the door is opened, you hear all sound eventually stop. And you start to hear clawed movement very slowly. It's moving around down. Something is moving around down there. Something pretty decently sized.
I'll take up a defensive posture right next to the door, but not go in.
Are you going to still
think
hold
as
it
soon
open,
as
or are you
I
going to close it?
I was imagining that I would let it drop so that it was open. Like if it's a trap door.
So you full opened it?
Yeah.
As soon as I see Edith go into a defensive position, my hands go into my bag and pull out 2 brass knuckles, slip them on very quickly, and I go into just a fighting stance to prepare for whatever is going to launch out.
I have a question. Is there you mentioned an altar. Is there anything on the altar or any crosses or?
There is something.
Left to
There's some pieces of something that is up on the altar. They're very clearly not of this church, as there's almost this porcelain white glow in the moonlight from them.
Got you. There's no, like, huge cross like there usually is.
There is no crucifix left in this building.
Okay, cool.
Damn.
Eh,
I guess I'll get on
Andre. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say get up on the altar and just like wait for something to come out.
So we can get a leaping attack.
Oh, I was planning on the leaping attack. The moment I see anything amidst the darkness with my little feral eyeballs, slitted, slightly glowing red, just I see something, I'm pouncing.
So, as everyone is preparing, the door is completely open. It is very difficult to see down into this darkness. There's stone stairs that lead down there, and as whatever it is down there is moving, it suddenly kind of gets a lot louder as it's letting more of its weight fall. And it's still not come up the stairs, but you can kind of hear a weird scratching as whatever it is probably is getting in a similar position to all of you, sort of letting a bit of a wait happen, wondering if it will be able to see one of you. So you are very aware you are now stuck in a bit of a predator stalemate with whatever is down there.
Here, little beastie.
I would
Come on,
like to
little
take out my
beastie.
cell phone and pop the flashlight on it and shine the flashlight down into the hole.
Makes me blinded.
See it.
Blind.
Yeah, true.
So you 2 seconds to set things up here. You shine this flashlight down, and the minute it goes off, remember, I believe it's at Dex Athletics,
Ooh, child.
as whatever is down there is going to jump out at the light.
Oh, goodness gracious. All those die.
And for what? No.
Do I need to reroll?
Let's see.
Be a good plan. It might be a good plan right about now.
Rouse the blood.
Mr. Fluffikin
Roll.
says from the shadows. Yeah.
Come here.
My freaking god!
Mom. Oh no! The dice have a story to tell, y'all.
This is sure looking bad for you.
Who's alive tonight?
No. Oh no. Oh no.
Now I feel bad.
Okay.
Was that a triple
Okay,
crit?
Wait,
Is that
No,
wait,
it's
triple
just
crit?
a regular crit.
It's just one crit.
hold on. Slip has given a reroll for Edith.
Oh,
Thank
thank you, Slip.
You slip.
Thank you.
Stay with us one more night.
Love you dearly.
Okay, what was it? Athletics and
Dex
dexterity?
athletics.
You
Yes.
can rouse if you
Yeah,
want.
Yeah, you can rouse
Yeah,
blood.
fuck it, let's rouse
Got-
blood.
Got some extra dice.
It's a hefty
You're
amount of
fine.
successes.
Oh, there's. There we go. Okay, athletics. Dex. How many dice is that
Here
on?
we go.
It's
You're
determined by your blood potency.
What's your blood potency?
That is a good question. I think it's just one. Unless we got.
No, it
extra
should be at
one.
least 2, I think.
2. It's 2.
Okay. Oh yeah, because we're generation 10. Yep. So is that 2 die?
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we are.
That's right.
Thank you
That's
so
that cat like Grace.
Like Grace. At the very... As this thing jumps out at the light, you catch that sound, that little click of that final push. You're like, oh! And you are able to roll out of the way as this creature comes full force out of this dark hole. Now that it is in the
Any of us
moonlight,
get a
it be-
swing at it as it was coming out, as we were prepping. It used its turn to attack while we were staged to hit it.
you will?
Mhm.
I will describe the creature first as it is entering the light, and then you may stab it to your heart's content.
Wonderful.
As this creature comes out and into the moonlight, you become aware that the body is somewhere in between a dog and a lion. But the head, or where a head would be, is completely flattened, and in its place is nothing more than what appears to be a painted porcelain doll mask. This thing also seems to have, other than its fur, once it reaches its tail, there is this, it turns to just pure leathery skin, and at its end is some form of barb. And as this creature is jumping out, since all of you were prepared for this monstrosity, or at least something to come out, you all will be allowed to attack it as it rushes by you.
Y'all were closer to the creature, so
And I was ready to pounce, so I'm not even sure whether it got all the way out of the door before.
ooh, we got a crit.
Ooh.
Hello.
But jeez, that is a
Hey.
crit. All right. Can't let myself be outdone here.
Can't be outdone by the priest.
The chef.
But I get
The
outdone
priest.
by the priest.
Good job.
Bad days.
You avoided a messy critical.
I
Which is
did
good.
avoid a messy crit.
That's very good. You didn't do bad though at all.
As I'm bringing my claws pumped up with more. It's something. It's something.
So I'm doing math in my brain.
Yeah, we swing. I get some good jabs in, and I'm thinking like we all bring our best, but that looks different for everyone, and that's fine.
Yeah.
God damn, alright. Coming for this.
We're so sassy.
So-
Alright.
We're sassy Sabbat.
So Andre and Chef, Chef, you are using a knife, and Andre, you are using your claws.
My claws have a +4 damage right now. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Hey.
Might have a
Because
+2.
prowess and barrel ones are silly.
That was exactly my
Yeah.
plan as well.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
and...
so that would bring us both to 9 damage.
Yes, it would.
Oh yeah.
But yours, there's something special about it, it not getting halved.
Yes, my superficial is not halved because they're big and nasty.
If that counts.
Causes aggravated health damage to mortals, and superficial damage inflicted from fur or weapons is not halved.
Doing math on paper like a plebeian. I don't know why I'm not using a calculator, even though I don't really need it. Alright, I can do math.
Sometimes you just need to see. Sometimes you just need to see the numbers.
Sometimes you need to watch as your hard work goes. Pew. No, sorry. Let's see. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. So, as you come striking on this thing, you basically dig into it. You are able to dig into flesh. Now, I need both of those who struck it need to make a... Once I brain... I wrote it down. Where is it? Can't find the skill, and now I can't remember the name of it. I suppose it would be a... Of all things... just a stamina roll?
Oh.
Raw
Stamina.
stamina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anything to add to the
You just-
stamina?
Not for this particular thing. This is not something you can.
So
There's
just
very
one
few things that would give a reduction to what's about to happen.
Oh, child.
Fortitude? If anybody had it, I don't think either of us have it.
Yeah,
I do.
fortitude would be the only thing to kind of pause this. So I need now. Grant, don't worry, this isn't that bad. Each one of you. Ooh.
Oh, are
Oh,
me and
he
Edith
was-
also making this, or is it just Andre?
It's just the
and,
two that
and
struck
Chef?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the two who made contact with it.
Right, rousing the blood is a thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Alright,
As
I rolled what I rolled.
as you both strike into it. Yes, you both are. Oh, actually, no. Only one of you is. Chef, as you strike into it, there is this kind of sickly, almost purple black liquid that comes out of it as your knife cuts through it. And luckily for you, it spatters around your arm and onto your knife, and you are able to notice the slight steam and are able to pull the fabric away from your arm before it hits your skin. Unfortunately for Andre, as you are using simply your feral weapons, your hand dives completely into the creature, and the ichor covers your hand. You will take 1 superficial damage as it begins to burn your skin.
Yeah.
The beast, after its both of these attacks, it does finally land near the altar, kind of skidding backwards as the ichor kind of spurts out of it as its muscles tense and push more of its fluids out of its body. As it drips to the dirt, you can actually see little steam as it begins to acidify. Its acidic nature begins
Burn.
to melt through the stone.
Gross.
Ew. Gross. Okay.
Seeing this, I drop my hands out of the claw kind of stance and pull out my gun. Point and shoot. What is that? Firearms and
Composure?
Oh, sure.
Composure. The one roll that I'm like,
That's
it doesn't make
no,
sense.
seriously, it's the one roll that I swear I may change. Oh damn.
You're aiming.
You could if you do it by the hip, it's by the textbook dex and firearms.
Well, I did just say I aimed, so I guess that would be composure. Plus, I like the dice.
I mean, you did great. You did great.
Shiv is
I know.
stirring stuff up. Compulsion choice.
Brother.
Wait, what's that?
Okay, nope, that's it. Here it comes. Shiv, I love you dearly,
Here we are.
but as you have infinite hedgehogs, I cannot allow you to use any of the redeems. Our viewers may,
That's
Shiv, but you have infinite. It's not fair. I love you, but no. You are the only one. Now, if anyone else wants to do it, yeah, that's still valid.
Oh God.
But no more
The
infinite
ego
hedgehog
is
stuff.
that shit. Okay.
You're all safe for right now until
Do
someone
we
else
hit?
goes, oh, okay. Click.
Yeah. Fuck. Someone else.
Now
is
it's
It's
like
okay.
staring
Hey,
at the chat,
Reginald, if you want to
terrified.
do it, I understand.
Oh no. Oh no.
Wait, but
let's
who
find
had
out
that
who the
before?
Oh, no. I don't know. But
Anyway,
this
I just
little bastard's gonna try to dodge.
Oh, word. Okay. Fingers crossed they don't.
It does not. It is getting hit hardcore
Woo!
with that bullet. What's the bonus for that gun?
It's a 45. I
Was
can't
it
remember what
plus
I don't think I wrote
3?
down what we decided on that.
I believe we counted it along the same lines as a shotgun, just because that's such a large caliber gun.
Yes, we did.
That is a Magnum.
Mm-hmm. That's a big gun.
It is also very loud, and it will, in fact, echo throughout everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see the knife with the blood. I see where it dodged. I would like to throw a knife at it.
Ooh.
Habit. Okay. Oh dear. So, I've done the math as far as I'm remembering how to do it. On at least that particular weapon, we will confirm that later. As this bullet crashes through, it actually hits the mask of this creature. And you watch as where the hole in the mask occurs, many cracks appear, and at least a fourth of the mask falls away. And you can actually view what is underneath this porcelain. And from it, you just see this twisted, almost jawline on one side that you realize goes underneath the bottom of the mask. Where the mask's chin is actually where this creature's mouth is.
Mm.
And other than the
Oh,
mouth,
ew, it's
you
like
don't
down here.
see... Yeah, you don't see anything else that would be familiar. Just sort of very raw tissue. Like, it's not meant to be in open air, or it hasn't been for a very long time.
It's like a gaping maw.
Yes.
Ugh. Gross. Okay.
And as it kind of wheels back from getting hit, it actually lets its tongue out in sort of a cry of pain. And it's long enough that as tall as this thing stands, which is about, I'd say, 4 feet from ground to the low, like it, as it lowers its head, tall, the tongue reaches the ground.
Ew.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Your side is a piece of work.
Well,
Nexus.
part of this was definitely Raphael. Yeah, I say that. I'm like, part of this was Raphael. This isn't all her. She's not that talented. So here's the thing. I punch things, right? But it gives acid. So I'm not exactly excited to punch it. But I don't want it to eat my my pack or Mr. Fluffykins, who's probably somewhere in the shadows. So we're going to punch it with my brass knuckles. Not directly in the maw, but somewhere in this region, avoiding its mouth.
So giving it a black eye. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Does it actually have eyes? Hold on, I don't know whether I actually properly.
It,
Does it have
right.
eyes?
It doesn't
the
have
mask. The mask has holes where the eyes should be, though.
Okay.
When looking into it, it's hard to tell whether that glassy black is an eye, or maybe there's some kind of, actual glass in its face, because there's no pupil, there is no other things. It's just this gentle black shape that vaguely glistens in the moonlight.
Okay, so that's fucking gross. But here we are. So I'm gonna punch it, which is brawl strength. Is that what it is to punch? To do the punchy punch?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm gonna do a +1 because I'm wearing my brass knuckles.
That's a 1 to the damage.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Unless you have a specialization or something.
I
Yeah,
do.
specialization
It is the
ones
brass
with
knuckles.
dice. Oh, then yes.
Mhm. All those dice, and for fucking what? I'm gonna use a willpower, so that I can re-roll 3 of those dice because it's a shame to have all those dice and not fucking get a thing from them. Is there a difficulty? I kind of just left it as what the standard was, but is there a difficulty?
No, you just leave it as the standard. Y'all don't need to know my
Okay.
difficulties. Don't worry about it.
So that will be 5 successes.
Yeah, well, bingo bango. It's gonna try to
Yeah,
dodge
we
it.
fucking...
It's
Okay.
-2.
Right.
I am using toughness as well. I don't know if that applies to anything. But...
I believe toughness deals with you
I think
taking
toughness
damage.
is just for me. Yeah.
But it will assist you in what happens after you strike it.
Okay, great, wonderful.
Damn. Yeah, no, you hit it.
Hey, so you see her in this. Oh, we lost somebody.
Oh no. Who is it? Oh no.
Andre.
I don't have a 30-person one set.
Oh no. Oh wait, he's back. Yeah.
Oh, he's returned. Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, so we close the fist, we come forward, and we just it in a stance is very much like echoing that of maybe a boxer at one time, maybe a street fighter, but we fucking give it the 1-2.
You got the 1-2. All right. And you have toughness.
Yes, I do.
How much is...
I will tell you ahora.
Me suddenly trying to remember what the hell the discipline for toughness is.
So whatever damage to you, I subtract the fortitude, that I have, which is 2. And that occurs, that minus occurs before having the damage of whatever I take.
Right.
But the damage cannot be reduced below 1.
Then honestly, you can roll the stamina roll if you want. Actually, no, you should, because something else does happen if you completely fail it.
Okay. It's just the stamina. I got a 2.
Damn. All right. Yeah. Well, because it cannot be reduced below 1, you are going to take the 1.
Okay. 1 superficial. Where's my help?
As it is beginning to bleed a lot more, and a lot more of the inner ichor is starting to come out. You were very lucky. The toxin is in fact getting more potent.
Yeah. I think Nexus just kind of hisses, and you see that her fists are like steaming. And she's quick to like shake off any of the goop that is on her brass knuckles, because she's not trying to get them fucked up. So she's very quick to be like, no, don't destroy them.
As you give the beast the 1-2 punch, as it were, you actually crack and force off far more of the porcelain doll mask. And you are now aware that, yes, those dark, glassy things appear to be its eyes, as they are very much, they're very much organic, as you have popped one of them.
I do love eyes, so that's great. Love to see it.
So, as you pop one of its eyes with your force, it wheels back very quickly, letting out this shrill, gurgling cough, almost. And it actually turns from all of you, and in a very whimpering tone, it begins to attempt to run away. Anyone who wants to may attack it to try to stop it.
Yep.
I'll fire another shot at it.
Mhm.
I'd be pouncing on it shortly.
I'd say the gun would go off first.
Yep.
Working on it.
The knife throwing.
The knife throwing.
Yeah, I think what Nexus probably says out loud, like, it can't be allowed to leave.
Nope. Yeah, the bullet goes off. Ooh. What was that? Athletics and dexterity.
Throwing that knife.
Knife throw.
Chucking the knife.
Right, range is that. I forgot. My brain is like, isn't that melee? And I was like, no. Throwing weapons
No,
is
melee.
athletics.
Mhm.
Melee is you actually have to stab it, I believe.
Yes.
All right.
Gotta get it.
Well, no, yeah. I'm just gonna say there's no way that a creature like this is going to be able to dodge. Is it? The gun goes off again, ringing out over everything, and as the creature desperately attempts to crawl forward, a knife comes piling right into the back of its head, and it just slumps. And you all hear the crack of the remainder of its porcelain face hits the ground.
Fucking disgusting. I kind of tiptoe my way around it, kind of giving its, now sort of the broken mask is gone, kind of giving its face a once over. Does it look like I know this is definitely Raphael's creature, as he's, he already told us, but does it look like maybe someone familiar? Like at one point there was someone
Actually, speaking with that, Andre, you are more familiar with seeing Raphael's creations. He does not make many. But one thing that he does do, that you would know because you're so near him, Raphael makes birds. He never makes mammals. And there's no bird on this. No feathers, no beak, nothing. It's all mammal.
Ah.
I'll pick out my flip phone and take a picture of it.
There we are, chef. Dolly gets into some fucked up shit, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
I'm contemplating this. He doesn't make mammals, but he makes birds. That's his shit.
Yes.
So, safe to say that at one point maybe this was bird-like, and then Dolly did some shit to change how this looks, or now it's a dog, basically? Or...
If this was ever a bird, then that there's so much change here, there's no way to tell that. Nothing from its claws, its tail, nothing about this has any raptor qualities. And Andre and Nexus, you can kind of make an assumption on this. Andre, you've seen them. Raphael has an affinity for owls, specifically. So he very is focused on the type of feet, the beaks. He thinks they're beautiful creatures, so you'd be looking for things like snowy owls, great horned, barn, things like that.
Okay.
Would
anyone... Oh. No, you're good. Go ahead.
If you're having in-character stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing shit when he said that one of his fucking creations was here, right?
That's what he said.
He said that.
I mean, it could be down there as well.
No, it was something that was originally his that she fucked up.
This is one hell of a fuck up. I'm gonna leave that there and make a turn to creep my way down into the, the basement, basically, of this place.
Anyone who is near to the creature, can you make either wits awareness or intelligence and investigation? It is completely up to you, whichever you want to do.
What's awareness?
How near?
As long as you're standing next to the dang thing. If you've gone anywhere near it, if you decide to hang back, you won't be able to roll it.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I was about. I basically hopped in front of this thing as the knife was hitting its cow, and kind of looking at the whatever mask was left.
I stayed
Oh.
back and shot it, so.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
All right, hold on. I'm working through this.
You know,
Do you wanna stick with that?
when
messy
you gotta
crit?
do it.
You want? Yeah,
Hell
you
yeah.
gotta do it. Okay.
Absolutely.
All
It's
right.
gotta honor the messy crit.
Now comes the moment where the ST forgets every single thing he's ever known about BTM. For some reason.
Messy crit.
What's wrong with me?
Compulsions, I believe.
Yes,
Right?
obviously. I'm sitting here going, what the hell are the compulsions? So, as you are
got
looking over this creature, Chef, you do notice a glint of something near its neck. But as you're looking over this thing, it's like something takes you over in the back of your mind. This thing's structure. You need to know, could you serve it? As toxic as it is, could you serve this thing? You want to
Well,
cut
first,
this
you
thing
know.
apart.
Yeah.
You want to cut this apart. You will be having the harm compulsion. And this is where Shiv is better than me because I can't remember the entire description of the harm compulsion. I'm very sorry.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
As you find it, yeah, I think I'm enthralled. Almost like the Toreadors, like when they see something beautiful and they just have to pause and like observe it. I'm observing the skeletal structure, and I take out my knives and I start going to work.
Wild.
If, are you going to try serving us any of that?
I'm not. The outside world doesn't exist. Like counting the vertebrae and
Okay.
talking about different things.
I finally have it. I'm not insane. Okay. Vampire performs all actions not immediately resulting in someone or something getting harmed at a 2 dice penalty to their pool. Its compulsion ends when the vampire incapacitates, destroys, or drives away a target. If the vampire turns on an object, it must hold serious value to someone a vampire ordinarily values, such as themselves. I can speak. So I'm going to say you have the urge in this case. I'm counting the beast as the object, and you need to cut this thing apart and figure out, okay, what's
I
inside.
do. Yes. Oh, would you like me to do a craft?
Yes!
Crit. 6 successes.
Damn. Yeah.
I also am going to use a discipline that I have for celerity. It's called Rush Job, and I can Rush Job. I don't suffer diminishing dice pulls. I'll just put it in the thing.
It's sitting there so I can look at it.
There you go.
Speed of attacks against the activity.
I could treat a full action as a minor action. Basically, anything that has like minute work other than like combat, I can do extremely quick.
All right. So you come down on this beast and very quickly, faster than anyone should be able to move, you have this thing completely separated. And you are so quick to move and so good at your work that you are able to completely avoid touching too much of the ichor. You're able to see that the ichor is only on the outside skin layer and a little bit into the organs. You know how to move around them, get rid of them. And by the end of it, you have found every part of the inside of this creature. It's in pieces, butchered perfectly on the ground by the end of it. You will also, now that you've been able to open it up, you will see that there are parts of this creature that seem human. The lungs, the ribcage is extended, but that's not an animal. The shape is incorrect for one. And though it is very smashed and destroyed, the head seems to be a humanoid skull.
The contents of the stomach.
The contents of the stomach, as you open it up, are a mixture of feathers, what looks like fingers, and just destroyed viscera. That viscera
Would they be
specifically is hard to identify.
Be owl feathers by any chance?
I think just that. I feel like that'd be some form of intelligence.
I have academics.
Have a brain. Sorry, I had to cough for a second. Yeah, I'll let you do this for academics and intelligence.
Sure.
Yes. These are very
Rolling
clearly
hot.
from once you've moved some of the ichor and blood off of them, you can see a very telltale amber color to these, with just a little bit of gray. These are some of the flight feathers of what, though they're a bit large, a barn owl.
Yep. I'm gonna take one of those and stash it in my apron, kind of clean it off.
And I would say that this creature has been successfully destroyed. So I'll even state that you just followed through. Your harm compulsion is taken care of in this particular case. But you will be busy with this for, even as fast as you are, you're going to be busy with this for a bit. Now, who is going inside the hole? Nexus, Edith, Andre, are you also going in there?
Not going to lie, Andre is a little bit fascinated as Chef is just slowly taking this thing apart and just like, he's butchering this thing. He said he wasn't going to serve it, but oh, there are doubts. You know what? I don't need to sit here anymore. Okay.
He's having an artistic moment right now. That's all that is.
Apparently.
He needs to do his craft.
Right. He's just lost in
Let's-
the art right now.
Let's go see what this thing might have been snacking on then, eh?
So, as everyone enters into the cellar of this church, I'm gonna need... It is very dark down here, and I believe, Edith, you have a flashlight. Alright, with that...
I have eyes of the beast. I do not care about the dark.
Eyes of the Beast, flashlight, and I assume, Nexus, are you just sort of sticking by Edith?
But I mean, yeah, if Edith is flashing their flashlight about, I probably wouldn't wander a great deal too far. And stick to my pack.
All of you may make, if you wish, investigation intelligence. Intelligence investigation. Either way.
Can I bargain you for a wits and awareness?
I was going to ask the same thing.
Can I?
Yes, but you will be getting something
persuade you?
different.
Okay, that's totally fine.
Then I might rouse for the other one, despite the fact I also have a better dice pool for wits awareness.
I'll try the...
Damn. Alright, too late. It's
One hunger.
happened. Are you trying the intelligence investigation?
Yeah, but I'm not going to rouse.
Yeah, then I guess I'm gonna stick with the wits awareness. But I got
You
the
still
+2
get-
penalty anyway.
You get the +2 mod on your stuff.
Yuppers.
Ooh!
For wits and awareness, oh my god.
Oh my lord.
For wits and awareness, is there difficulty or is it standard?
It's just standard.
I don't mind me. Don't mind me. That's this. Okay, there we go.
There we
4.
go.
4.
I'm rousing, which is fine. I do get a little hungrier.
4 is perfectly fine.
Wits and awareness. I am a blood leech, so I get 3 to my rouse. And I get a messy critical. Lord have mercy. Okay, well,
Okay.
we're just
Back
out
to the
here.
book.
You know what
And
I'm
there's
saying?
no way to avoid that one. Both of those crits
I
are on
can't.
dice.
No way to avoid that one.
Exactly. Yeah, so we're just out here wilding for clout. Oh, I've been given a reroll. Thank you so
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my lord. Slip, you coming in and saving
yeah.
everybody.
Mucho thank you.
What
Mr.
an
Riz
angel.
Ferrazzo
Thank
is our
you.
fucking guardian angel.
Yeah. It's not great as before, but here we are.
It's-
It's 3
Don't
successes.
worry, it's perfectly fine. Alright.
better than messy.
Ooh. Alright, so, as long as you got above a 3 or above on the wits awareness, looking around, you are able to find on the ground, kind of behind the staircase. The cellar kind of extends a little bit forward, maybe about 5 feet till it hits a desk of some sort, and then it kind of goes back past the staircase even longer into just the darkness. But for all of you, it's at least easier to see with the flashlight, Eyes of the Beast. And you see just the drag marks of blood all over the floor. And at the end of this area is what appears to be a human, or at least possibly a humanoid, with, of all things, what looks like a feather jacket. The jacket has been torn asunder, pulled apart. The individual is dressed rather nicely, actually. Best way to kind of describe it is almost gaudy. Like, like doll style gaudy. Like things are just a little bit too simplistic, but also too fancy. There's glitter in weird places on this jacket and
This
pants.
bitch.
And
Mhm.
on the ground next to everything, in the hand, one on the ground, one in their hand, is a pale white shard. And they are clenched around one of these shards. There's the black ichor is actually visible on part of it and on along their arm, and the rest has blood from them clenching so hard on it. And from their jaw to their stomach is just torn open. There's just gore.
I am reflecting on this wardrobe and just saying, this try hard ass bitch. Just reading Dolly for filth in my head. And then I obviously see that this person attempted to fight back the creature with the shard piece, I assume.
It seems like it, yes.
Okay, I'm going to squat down, and I am going to. You said there's just a shard in their hand? Is the other hand
Yes.
open and free, or okay?
Yes, it is. The other hand is open and free, and you can see something on their hand now that you're closer. It's specifically on their palm. There is a moon symbol with what appears to be a wing to it. And you know that these symbols, like those kinds of tattoos, specifically wings and moons, are Raphael's. That's how he marks his people.
This is what was wrong. Oh no. Oh boy. Right. Nexus sees this, kind of opens the palm and holds it up a bit, holds the arm up a bit to show Edith and Andre, who are, I'm assuming, behind her, of like, well, I found what belonged to Raphael.
This makes a lot more sense. Which means that thing upstairs was entirely Dolly.
Ooh, I fucking hate her. Okay. Well, there's not much we can do about this fucking guy. Look at him. He's already dead. And he ain't one of us, so he's not going to disappear. So, do you think Raphael wants the body back, or?
It's kind of like when one of my cats catches a bird. You just kind of got to let them do their thing.
Okay. Well, unless there's objection from you, Andre, I think I'm going to leave the body here. We can, and I'll take out my flip phone, flip it open, and I just take a picture of the face. Actually, no, I take a picture of the whole body, because when I show it to Raphael, I want him to see the full damage. And I will stand up and go, we got to find files. Gabriel apparently got files somewhere in here. And I'll just start attempting to look around for
Softy, is there still any blood left in this body here?
Yeah. A little bit. It's pretty freshly dead. There's still stuff in here.
How much hunger would that slake? Because I'm kind of hungry, and I'm that scavenger to my goddamn core.
You normally eat the pretty damn dead, so I mean this is actually pretty fresh comparatively.
Careful. There's some of that weird acid shit.
Yeah, there's not that much left. I mean that beast ate a lot and tore it apart, but I'll let you select one from draining the rest that's still vaguely in it. Gotta take a little snacky bites on there.
Yeah. Go ahead. As you're just going like, oh, we can leave this here. Big, massive fangs grip by his neck and just the gross, nasty noises.
Oh yeah, just gross noises in the back here. And I'll say right about the time gross noises are happening, this is about the point that, Chef, you've completed your process and you may walk down the stairs if you'd like. And when you come down the stairs, you may also make either the wits awareness or the intelligence investigation.
Muted.
Yeah, I am walking down. I've fixed all my knives. Now I am rousing the blood and doing the intelligence. Okay, investigation.
Oh. Perfect.
Hey.
I don't have
Yeah.
any investigation, so it's just a flat intelligence.
So, as you search everywhere, looking around, you catch sight. It's almost hidden because of how small it is. But you catch sight of some wires that lead down towards a pole, and you have found the light switch.
Amazing.
Turn it on.
The most
Just-
important thing.
Flicks on the light switch, and the whole basement lights up.
Oh,
For
that's handy.
for drama, for drama and flair, there's just a moment where Nexus is like, the light just
It's like, light. It never ends. with-
the light, very dramatic.
With the lights completely on, you can see the full size basement is. It's about the same size as the small church above it. Just kind of sat back a little bit in the way it is. Definitely part of this is just under pure dirt, not the church itself. There is a lot of shelves in this space. There are books. There's even what looks like parchments down here rolled up. There are a lot of things down here, a lot of them very old, very musty. You're almost dead certain 90% of this stuff, if you grabbed it, it'd fall apart. On the desks, though, there's a desk right in front of the stairs, and there's one sort of to the side that actually has a chair. Something immediately stands out to you is right on top of everything. There is a very fresh, clean sheet of paper. Like, we're talking 9x11 printer paper. And on it, and next to it, is a proper glass pen that has been dropped and has spattered ink all over this. And there is writing on it. And I'm not even going to make anyone roll just to go look at it. The writing is a note. And it's very short, very quick. And it just reads, Master Raphael, I'm sorry. I was too weak. I came back to myself, and I don't know how long. Good, and then it stops. It gets about to the D, and then it jerks, and the ink spills on the thing.
Oh, poor thing. I left a little love letter for him, and I'll pick it up, and I'll see if the ink is dry, especially specifically on the splattered part.
It's
has it been long
fairly
enough that it's dry?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was alcohol.
So I shake
ink,
it like
so
a Polaroid.
Yeah. And
yeah.
underneath
It's
the
like-
letter, salvaged by it, not the ink damage it, there are a couple things. There is a large leather-bound book, and there is a manila folder with other very fresh sheets of paper in it.
Okay.
While we're looking, Mr. Fluffkins would hop up on a shelf and start knocking stuff off of it.
Oh, absolutely. Just like,
Glass pin.
Yeah, in the back of my head. Yeah, in the back of my head, I'm like, good kitty.
he got the memo.
Yeah. And you said there's a manila folder as well.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Whichever you would like to look at first.
I'll take the book if you take the folder.
Yeah, I hand over the book and we'll open up the folder, pull out what's in there. And I'm holding it in such a way that should the others want to look over my shoulder and peep at it, they absolutely can.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm
but yeah,
totally
I
looking
open
over
the
your
folder
shoulder.
first. Yeah.
The contents of the folder, there's not too much. There's about maybe 8 to 10 sheets of paper. A lot of them are what appear to be scans of like old documents, just scanned on a literal scanner. Others are notes and things written, one of them in a very, very flowery handwriting. It's not even cursive, it's calligraphy by this point. Very elegant, and it's almost reads like a mix between a scientific, like a scientist's notes and a journal written by like a child. Like there's big words, but then there's just this almost weird childlike wonder to everything. Words like I imagine, I wish, I think, and like a lot of likes, but then there's also big words like cardiovascular system and times of how long it takes to drain a body of blood. And other small things. There's descriptions of
Slowly listening to the as I finish off
yeah.
the rest of the boy off the side.
There is also a small thing that can only be described as in the same ink as this beautiful flowering thing is a tiny little childlike sketch. And this little sketch bears a decent resemblance to the creature you found upstairs. And it has specifically underneath it 3 things in Latin. All 3 are 2 names, and reading through them, it clicks in your mind. These are species. These are different animal species. Homo sapien is on there very clearly.
Okay.
Lupus, and then I don't remember the one for the African lion.
As in, essentially what it took to make the thing.
Yes. It seems to be either inspirations or actual pieces used. Stuff like that. We may have lost audio at one point.
Oh no.
We can never have a stream here when I'm the GM without a little bit of scuff.
That's what
All
happens when
hail
you
the
have 2
scuff.
Lasombras in the party.
All hail the scuff.
scuff.
This is what happens when an eldritch deity is your ST. I'm sorry, I've broken the interwebs.
I'm Nexus now.
You are Nexus now.
Yes. And I am the chef. Indeed.
And I am
Oh.
Andre, which doesn't change a whole lot.
Doesn't change.
A little dirtier.
Oh.
Well, no. Yeah, a little bit.
I think just banter, looking at the book, and I'm talking to Andre, and I'm like, the food you were eating, was it canine blood or regular blood, human blood?
What that one? As I point
Yes.
down to the one.
You know, Dolly has a tendency to turn people that they think they're, and put them in sorry predicaments.
Softy,
Yes.
that didn't taste overly funky for like kind blood, right?
Hello?
Hello. We have you.
I'm so sorry. Discord just decided, to fuck off, I guess. But here we are.
Decided you didn't need to exist, which is some bullshit. But
Right.
Did the
no,
same thing to
Andre,
me anyway,
the
yeah.
blood did not taste funky. It tasted like, maybe a little spicier, but I mean, it was just sort of normal mortal.
So
I'm getting the sound clip.
basically-
Why is it spicy?
Why is it spicy? Just Andre after eating people. Why is it spicy?
Kind of. That's part of the question.
Oh, in the notes that I found here, the three species that is mentioned, is it like laid out in such a way that I can assume that these are the three species that likely made the creature?
Almost certainly.
Okay.
I got Homo sapien, lupus, and what was the third?
It's
Lion.
lion. It's the African lion.
Mm.
Oh, and there actually is one other thing inside that note. There is a little sketch of what looks like a collar and a dog tag, and in the dog tag is Jevadon.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting.
It was easier to kill it before I knew it had a name.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't know. um. Okay. Is there anything else worth knowing in this collection of papers?
There is. There's one last thing that's of interest. There is a list of addresses, some of which have been crossed off, but a few have not. One of the ones that's crossed off is located in Westminster, and the only few that are not crossed off are one in London proper, and next to it has a little heart that, like a, well, little, rather large heart drawn that says Asher inside of it. And the next address, as it were, is somewhere in Bromley, which is
But that
where you
one-
are.
But that one's crossed out.
Bromley is not. The London one and the Bromley
Oh.
one are not crossed out. There's one in
Yeah, it's
Westminster.
the Westminster.
There was one where you are is Havering. I finally found my notes. The one in Havering is crossed out, and there was one in Enfield, and that one is also crossed out. So the only two that aren't are London and Bromley. And you'll know that Bromley is the borough directly next to you guys.
Okay. Interesting.
So the one in Haverly, is that the location we're at right now? Are we on a location on that map?
Yes. Tracing this address down a line, this is that address. It's on your street. You can make that immediate assumption. Okay, that's this church. So that one is crossed off. So already decided this is not a place to be. Now, I believe, Chef, you looked inside the leather-bound book?
Mm-hmm.
So upon opening the leather-bound book, a lot of it is degraded. There's water damage, there's blood stains, there's a lot of things. This book's been through a shit ton. Part of the leather is even starting to fall apart. But it is a hand-bound book. It's old. You find inside of it, there is a far more modern bookmark. Very cutesy, little, small cartoon dogs and cats on it. Very childish. But it is bookmarked on a set of pages that is fully illustrated and isn't faded. And it looks like, to the best approximation, like an illuminated manuscript, but a family tree, starting with one portrait, falling down into others. And the only things of note is that a lot of the portraits, if they're illuminated manuscript style, like medieval style. You can't really tell what that person looked like. Not to any ease, other than, okay, this is a woman with blonde hair, or a man with black hair, or something. But the names are on here. And you see at the very top is Asher. There are 4 individuals underneath him, and they are Maximilian, Richard, Regina, and Gabrielle. And specifically, Regina and Gabrielle, not Gabriel. It is E-L-L-E at the end. So the feminine variant of the name. And then kind of descending past that, there's a few other things. And the most interesting thing you'll start to notice is that every now and again, a portrait will be pushed in to other people, and there'll be a symbol in there that's not dissimilar to two rings, like a marriage would be. They have two rings interlaced. There's also ones where portraits have been scratched out or marked away. And there's just sort of areas, little names, people have been marked out. There's those rings, there's like lines dictating. Whoever drew this, whoever wrote this, was trying to record as much of the family as possible. And it only goes for maybe about 5 generational sections. And then it kind of just ends.
Go ahead and snap pictures of those two.
And it, looking forward or backward in the book, you will see behind the family tree, there is a set of notes. And this is very much just a journal. Very polite language, very proper, but normal handwriting. And it's kind of old-fashioned, but the gist of all of it is talking about issues with Regina and Gabrielle, an issue with Richard, and then at the very bottom talks about it is premature, but it is time for Maximilian. And then it kind of, it has a date written, and the date is like 1415.
Interesting. What did you find, Chef?
I found possibly nothing, possibly something disturbing. There's a family tree that goes back 5 generations. Asher is at the top. Richard, Regina, Gabrielle are all underneath them, with notes that they need to maybe premature but ready for Max. I can only think of Maximilian, Gabriel, Gina, and Richard.
Interesting.
Marrying into a family. Go ahead.
Nexus sort of traces her finger a little bit over the page, specifically at that date. From that's underneath Maximilian for 1415. Mayhaps that's when they turned him? Because he's still alive.
Mommy!
The ghost children.
Well, he's not alive.
Not the ghost chillins.
Living unlife. You're close with Raphael, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does Raphael go by anything different?
What? Like, repeat that. Player couldn't actually hear you.
Oh, does Raphael go by anything differently?
Andre, in your memory, Raphael does change form a lot. Male, female, it does not seem to matter. You have known that Raphael truly does believe that Cainite is his gender. And it does depend on what he decides to appear as that day. Generally, he goes by Raphael. But you have heard when he was in a feminine form at one point, that Regina was used before. He has used that as a female name. He's also gone by Reggie, Raph, and a few others. All ours, he seems to prefer them.
I mean, sometimes refer to themselves as, well, any number starting with R.
I see.
Any name
Gabriel.
starting with R. Wow, dyslexic saying numbers.
I got you. Gabriel, or Gabrielle rather. Gabriel, no. It seems that we found their family tree. I understand now why they want this. Seems pretty important. They wouldn't want it to land in anyone's hands.
They just asked for the folder, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, I believe the words were files. They wanted some files. And I say that as I adjust the papers and put them back in the manila folder and close them.
Yes. We have the files now. I think we should probably keep the book to ourselves, secret, for now.
There is a little disaster doll running around London. Who stole it? With that, I would just take a final glance around if there's anything else in here that grabs my attention before we head out.
Are there
Make-
drawers in the desk?
Yes, there are.
You gonna peep?
I'm gonna open.
I'll
up some
start
drawers.
opening drawers just because.
Okay. As Edith is opening the doors, I'm just peering over her shoulder, like looking to see if there's anything in those drawers.
Probably would have started that while we were looking at the book.
Oh, word.
yeah.
Okay, then yeah.
It's like, getting bored, start opening drawers.
Yeah, you got it.
You start opening drawers. There's a lot of writing materials, ink jars, pens. Eventually, though, one of the drawers you open, you kind of pull it open, and this object kind of fully rolls to the front, as nothing else was in here, and it just gets tossed. And if you were to pick it up, it is some sort of very, very old syringe. Like proper metal and glass syringe. And there does appear to be some sort of dried, rusty brown liquid inside.
I just gotta show it to everyone.
Interesting. Right, okay. Well, I guess, anybody got a little baggie or something we could put it in? Yes, no?
Yes.
Have any other bags after you butchered that thing, or did you go ahead and vacuum seal those away?
Oh!
Very presumptuous, but yes, I did.
Is it presumptuous if he's correct? I don't know. But wonderful. And if you have a bag, then,
Yeah, I have
we will
a
store.
little container to put it in.
Just drop it in.
Mm-hmm.
Nexus is just sort of like, okay, I hope he sealed those bags real good, because if there's any fucking blood in my car, those thoughts. But yeah, is there any last things in here, or does nothing else kind of stand out?
Nothing else seems, unless, do you want to make, it would have to be intelligence and investigation. That's the only thing you could make.
Ooh, child. Okay, we are gonna give it the good,
Good old college try.
Kane, be with me. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, I'm aroused because we were successful.
Somebody can aid you.
If one of you would like to aid me,
Yeah, I'll say if
absolutely
someone Does anyone have investigation?
I
Wait,
have,
I have
a single
one dot
in
in
it.
investigation.
As long as you got 1 dot, I will
Why?
allow. I will allow you to assist. I'll allow you to
Well,
get a
I
plus.
mean, Mr. Fluffkins is knocking things off shelves right now, so he could come across.
True.
Sure, I'll allow a plus. The whole party's helping. I'll allow a +2, including Mr. Fluffkins.
So I rouse the blood. So that would give me a 5 total to add to my dice here. All them dice and 4 fucking what? It's a 4.
Four's pretty good.
4
That
on
is
7
very
dice.
good.
That's slightly
That's
above
still
average.
pretty damn
Yeah.
good.
Well, or that's like
And-
perfectly average, actually.
Which is why I don't like it, because, Ventru. Anyway. Yes, what do I find?
As you are looking through everything, you're like, you think you have everything. And then Mr. Fluffkins tries to knock something off a shelf. And you hear a click. Mr. Fluffkins gets scared, meows, and jumps onto Edith's shoulders. But this click occurs, and you hear a gentle grinding noise from the back of the room, very near to where the body was.
I think at the initial click, Nexus's instinct is like, gun's about to go off, and just drops a couple inches just in case, you know what I'm saying? And then realizes where the sound came from and will sort of meander over to where the body was.
As you walk over, it is very slow going. This is an old mechanism that has not activated in years. But a mechanism does activate, and you see that there is a section of these bricks that's basically false. It's completely thinned out and is just being dragged to the side. And inside of this very small crevice, there is what appears to be an old and dusty jewelry box.
I will take it. Carefully, I will remove it from the crevice. I'm finna open it. I want to see what's in here. So I set it down on the table and I open it up.
As you open it up, you hear this gentle twang noise of something brass inside. At one point, this box probably was a music box, but it has not been wound in years, and that kind of sounded like the spring don't work no more. So there was a moment that it almost played a song, but it does not here. The box is very old, very simple. It's lined with very pretty silk, very deep blue silk. Under the dust, it is a lacquered black wood. And inside of it, there is an inscription on the top of the box that says, "To Maximilian." And there is a very beautiful, large sapphire blue ring set into part of the box that holds the rings.
Okay. Interesting. On the sapphire ring, is there any engravings on the inside of it, or is it just, regular?
I'm
band?
glad you asked.
Wonderful. What is it?
As you shift away some of the dust inside the ring, it says, "To my black swan."
Black Swan?
Yes, "To my black swan, A." Like hyphen A.
Huh. Like maybe Asha? I sort of muse out loud, and then I close the box and say, "We're gonna take this too." And I put it in my bag. And I say, "I think that's it. Let's head on back. We'll lead the way back up to the car."
You all will not be accosted as you end up back upstairs, and you are able to enter into your SUV.
When
Is there
we're
anything?
in the SUV,
Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna say out loud to the car, but my words are directed at Chef, and I say, it's possible that Dolly, the next location she might be at, might be in Bromley or London. She's got all these there's these locations I found in some of those files that were addresses crossed out. One's in Westminster, which we know she was there. One in Enfield was the other one. And here, Havering. She's clearly not here anymore, but she left her little fucking pet here. It is interesting to me. Maybe she didn't know this shit was there. You're muted.
I don't know about that one. She seemed to be getting information about them, so she had to know something. How much she knows is up for debate. Pure speculation until we catch her.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This would all be so much simpler if you were my sire instead.
There is a gentle smile, and she reaches over and just puts her hand on Chef's hand and gives it a little squeeze. And in a not gentle voice, is like, absolutely, she's the fucking worst. But it's okay, because you got me anyway, right? So we could pretend. However, don't worry. We're going to catch her, and we're going to pin her to the wall, and then you can serve her. Or the Grand Ball. I mean, that's a great party to serve her body at, don't you think?
I think it is. And I'm thinking about coming back and getting some of the stained glass to serve her
That
on.
would be beautiful. Oh my god, you're a fucking genius. That'd be great. Very impressive. I approve. If you need anything extra for preparations, just make a list. I'll handle it.
Yes.
So first things first. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say now we go to Gabriel.
Yeah, I think that might be our best bet. All right, let's head over there. And I just, I start driving in that direction.
Of course.
Did you?
Anything you need to say?
Oh, did you take pictures of all of the information before you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I pull out my flip phone and you can just see, she's got all that shit in there. So we have copies just in case. As I'm driving, sort of one-handed, I pull out the jewelry box. And I'm going to sort of reach back to give it to Andre. And I say, find a good place to hide that, okay? We might need that for later.
Intercept, and I'll actually grab it.
Whomever.
Andre will shrug and just be like, I had a fresh script I could hide in, but no, if you want to grab it, Edith, there you go.
Well, I know Max, so just in case, I'd like to keep an eye on it.
That's completely fair. Just, don't give it to him yet. It might be useful for us later.
I'll keep a secret.
I trust you too.
So, as you are all in the car, getting ready to set off towards Gabriel, we are going to take a break. Hello, everybody, and we're back from our little break. When we went on break, our lovely pack here was sat in their luxury black SUV, headed off to Enfield, where Gabriel's Sanctuary of the Tome is. So you are all headed off to the Sanctuary. It's not difficult to... all of the Sabbat of the City are aware of the Sanctuary's locations. At least specifically them, as they are safe havens for anyone who wishes to call Sanctuary. Gabriel's place is an old cathedral that is no longer considered religious property. It has been completely transformed into what is basically a library. During the day, it's a normal library. But you all are aware that there is a back entrance that leads into the basement, that it is not a normal library. So, how would you like to approach?
Park a little bit of a ways off, not too far, but just, to give us some space. And as respectfully as possible, walk through.
You remember to have the card, right?
Yes. And you see her sort of just fish into her dress for a second and pull it out.
And you're all walking into the front of the building, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't recall Raphael giving us any specific area to walk into first, so
No.
we're gonna try the front door.
So, as you go up to the front door, pardon. My soda's coming back to bite me. As you approach the front door, it is locked, but as you kind of press on it and it pops back at you, a kind of dark figure enters into where the glass is, and he pulls, because this is a glass door placed in place of what would have been the facade of this. They all seem to have cut into the stone, and the individual basically blocking the entire door with his size opens it up and leans his head down. He's that tall. He is wearing a mask that covers the bottom part of his face and up his nose, and you can see on the tops of his cheeks is clearly the tops of some form of very dark tattooing. And he leans down, looks at all of you, and is just, "May I help you?"
Here to see Gabriel, or Lord Gabriel, right? That's how he likes to be referred to in official capacity.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Lord Gabriel, and I present basically the hall pass that Raphael gave to us.
Man reaches out, takes the hall pass, looks at it, turns it over once and twice, just sort of nods. "The librarian will see you. Come on in." And he kind of steps back, holding the door open for you. And you're all able to enter in. This area that you enter in first is obviously the regular library. Shelves are stacked up normally. There's a couple book carts everywhere. There's a reception right up front, but as it's nighttime, reception is not open. No one is in here, save for a couple lights that are on towards the back. And as you walk through this library, finally getting towards the back, there is an individual sat at a smaller desk near what appears to be a rear door. A wooden door that's just sort of set into the back wall. He is writing in a very large book, clearly something that looks similar to a ledger. And as he's writing, you can see that not only are all of his arms visible, but the majority of his face and neck are. He's only wearing maybe what appears to be some kind of vest. And there are tattoos that wind up his arms into his neck. And a lot of them replicate... Some of them replicate words, inked languages in various things that wind up his arms. There's a few of them that almost appear to like they're sutures. Not physical ones, but, tattooed in suturing. He looks at you as you walk forward. Yeah. You're here to see librarian, I assume?
That's right.
Alright, give me just a
Raphael
second
sent us.
And he kind of just pauses, nods, like, yeah, we'll send many. Give me 2 seconds to check with Lord Gabriel. It's just protocol. And he kind of just, he goes over and you see him pull, like, I guess on the wall, the best way to put it is it's like a little inset where there's a little cord that seems to disappear into, just into the wall. And the cord's just sort of set out, and you can pull on it. And next to it is a small bell that is also set towards the wall. He pulls on the cord. Nothing seems to happen for a moment. And then the bell next to him rings twice. He turns, kind of does a quick, almost like you watch his hand shift as he counts. He pulls the string 4 times, and the bell rings once. And he kind of just nods, and he goes to open the back door with a large set of keys that are on his belt, pops it open, walks back to hold the door. There you go. Head on down.
Thanks. And proceed.
And obviously, once you're down the stairs, closes the door, and you can assume he goes back to his ledger. The door leads into clearly a lot more of the older structure of this building. It is a long, winding staircase that shifts down into a small a spiral. And once you've gotten down maybe what must be a good story, so a floor length of distance, you enter into what would be an apocrypha in a church. So where they would hold books that you're not supposed to have, that the church would want to keep or hide. This area is full of old-styled books. A lot of them are in plastic sleeves. You can even hear that they've installed dehumidifiers or something of the sort to keep temperature. The temperature is very neutral here. It's not too cold, not too warm. From the staircase, there is a main kind of hall. It's still very tight quarters, but there's at least a pathway that you can reach to a much larger central desk, and sitting amongst piles of old books with a computer that is also on his desk is a young man, black hair. You can't really see his eyes from this distance, but when you get closer, they would be blue. He is very bundled up all the way to his neck, full turtleneck. He's also wearing full gloves. He seems to try to cover up as much of his skin as possible. And you can tell once you've gotten up to him that his face is slightly damaged or something. There is odd movements. His face a little too tight. There's slight scarring to his cheeks. And when you walk in, he looks up at you and just, my dear brother has sent 4 of you. I assume you have the book I wanted.
Five, and I point down to
the
Mr.
files.
Fluffykins.
5.
You only wanted files.
We were told to retrieve files.
And you watch him
Which
just
I
straight
have.
up roll his eyes. Oh,
I do pull out the files for him. Would you like
Well.
to see?
sure. I always love new information, but the book was the most important part. Does that mean you didn't find it?
We found it.
Good. Where is it?
know that pesky little Toreador Dolly running about the city?
Yes. I chased her out of my
She has it.
territory about 2 weeks ago.
She has it. Turns out she was staying where we found these files, and I hand the files over, and I say, inside, you're gonna find all kinds of things in there, but especially, most importantly, an abomination of some kind, we assume made by Dolly herself. She ate one of Raphael's special ones.
Hmm.
You converse with
Well, the
Raphael quite
creature
a bit, don't
did.
you?
I'm sorry,
Who
say
are
that
you
again?
asking?
Esty didn't hear that.
Talking to Gabriel, you converse with Raphael quite a bit, right? Have correspondence.
And he kind of stares at you for a minute and is just, we're twins. Yes. Often.
The raptor feather that I have tucked in my apron, I will give to him.
With a gloved hand, he reaches out and takes it. And he's taken the file by this point, and he's flipped through it very quickly. And he takes the feather, looks at it, turns it over. It's fake.
This
My brother only uses real ones. Did you find it on his?
I found that in the stomach of the thing. And it was eating. Go ahead.
It was eating Raphael's pet, who was wearing a coat made of feathers.
Yeah. Something this fake. Dolly decided to play games like she normally does. And he flicks through like all the paperwork very, very quickly. Like, you watch his eyes go. He scans this way faster than most people could. Puts his hand down. And he lifts the folder and passes it back to you all. That's yours.
Okay.
It's her information, where she's been. That's what you all wanted, right? You said she has my book. Does that mean you weren't able to find it there?
No.
Please
However-
roll me manipulation. Please roll me, subterfuge and manipulation, because you are lying to this man's face.
Yes, I am. I'm a rouse check. We are successful. Subterfuge and manipulation. You know, I'm gonna use a willpower and re-roll 3 of those. Because I gotta lie real good.
Crit. Oh.
We got a 6. It's okay. We got a 6. I say to him, mutually beneficial for us to go and find her. Clearly, the book is of deep importance to you.
Give me 3 seconds.
We'd
I gotta
love-
do something.
Go ahead. Yeah. We'd love to do a favor for you.
Oh, God. Hold on, it's not rolling. I may have to do this by hand.
The API might be slow. If you
Yeah,
refresh
that's what I'm
the
thinking.
page, it might.
Yeah, it was slow for a little bit for me before. There was like a little bit of a lag.
Brush the page. Try to do that again. Hey, I guess I'm rolling this privately. Do I even? I don't have this many dice. This is gonna take me a minute.
You got it. In the interim, just like as a group, when he probably catches me in this lie,
I got you
what are
back.
we
Oh,
I
yeah.
got you back.
Okay. What are we saying? What are we doing?
Okay, so as you are talking to him, you watch his eyes he kind of goes, he looks like he's just even more bored than he was when you walked in.
It's fine.
And he just stares you down. You may
Not
say whatever
ominous.
you'd like to him.
Oh, no, I simply say we, would be happy to go get Dolly and retrieve your item for you.
Would you know?
Who wouldn't?
Mm-hmm. Well, you were given info. For info. You bring me the wrong one, and you lied in my
No.
face.
We brought you what we were told to bring you.
No,
That's a part
you
of
weren't.
this.
My brother, I'm certain, stated that your gift was her location.
Yes, and we gave you the file. Now we can...
Are you insane? That you think you can talk to me like that? In my own sanctuary.
We do have a book.
Let me guess. Is the book in your car? Or is it on your person?
Oh. Rather not say.
Well, you're going to have to say. Don't worry, by the way. Nexus, right? Richard likes you, I remember. I won't damage your car. My boys are good at that. Look, I don't want to be cruel. I don't want to be an asshole. My brother seems to have some unknown preference for you. But I am not here to be lied to.
Well, here's what I will say. I'll give you your book. Your boys don't need to touch my car. However, I am not wrong. Dolly does technically have your book. She has the information in it. So we can keep your book and keep it safe. And we can get rid of Dolly.
You can keep it safe. Safer
Far
than
safer.
a temperature-controlled sanctuary that is protected by multiple wards.
You know, where it was found, I imagine was thought to be safe as well. Dolly managed to get her hands on it. I showed you the files of the things she created to take out one of your brother's projects. She does not care for your power, your wards, or your protections. She does not know that we have it. Therefore, it is safest with us.
You think she doesn't know you have it?
If she does, she'll come to us. And we take her out anyway. The book
You know
remains
she
safe.
doesn't care about the book. I do.
Well, she certainly cares about what's in it.
All Dolly cared about was some proof that she was at least worth something. I assume some of the names in that are probably already busted out, including hers. You seem to like information about us so much that you want to keep it. Well, there's a little tidbit for you.
ST, from what I know about Dolly, like both of things that Chef has told me and just like generally knowing about her.
Mm-hmm.
Is what okay, I believe that he believes what he's saying is true. But I know Dolly to be far more conniving than that. And so is there a way for me to sort of suss out the real reason why she would want a family tree?
Um,
Even if I have to like roll something for it.
Alright. Are you up for a really weird roll?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down for a weird roll.
This is the only way I can think to twist this around.
Okay.
Etiquette and wits.
Okay. Interesting. So, what we're gonna fucking do is we're gonna rouse the blood. Because etiquette is one thing I don't motherfucking have. Okay. Etiquette and what was the other one you said? Wits?
Wits.
Okay.
That's the only way you could like kind of suss this out. Because this is a very strange situation going on.
Okay.
Shockingly not a messy
So
crit,
5
damn.
successes. Yeah, we did all right.
You kind of mix what Gabriel is saying, the way you're starting to put together some things that you've not just heard tonight, but from like Chef. Chef has described Dolly as he understands her, which is a conniving, horrible woman. Like no freaking doubt. That's mostly what she is.
Right.
But you've also heard
yeah.
from Raphael's aggression towards her. The way he refers to her is very personal. Like the way he dealt with it was also very, very personal aggression. Like he knows her uncomfortably intimately. And Gabriel's actions here are starting to feel very strange. Clearly he has gotten very angry very quickly, but then seems to have almost calmed down here while he's talking to you, even giving a strange secret. And you don't feel any. Not only is there there's a confidence to what he's just said. You can feel that confidence in him. Now, you still can't suss out whether that is just because he believes he's correct or if he is right. But in this situation, there's not a lot of reasons for this family tree. Because the information you could get from it, the most damning information as it would have seemed, does nothing more than express that Asher has the 4 knights as children, and that Max is a certain number of years old. There was no actual numbers there of generation. It does not actually describe how powerful they are, just that there is this familial connection.
Okay.
So there's something here where clearly Dolly, there must be something personal here. There is no etiquette reason. There's no reason to dive into this conniving wise. So there must be something making her act out personally.
I think that she might be on this list, or at least she comes after.
Okay. Other than the fact that it is like an old book, right? And that has their sort of familial ties to each other. He wants this book, to just have it in this place, like the safe place? You know what I mean?
That's
I wasn't
you're gonna have to
concerned
ask
about
him.
it before. Okay.
Well, there is something to be stated here that Gabriel is, especially the Sanctuary of the Tome specifically, is one to gather and destroy info. They gather info to keep, and then they destroy any versions of it that they themselves do not own. They are very much information brokers and controlling. Now,
I see.
you're not sure why it would be right now that he's obsessed. It could be because Dolly had it or stole it, or it's one of those ones where you're not super certain why he wants it. That's something you'd have to ask him and see if he's going to lie to you.
Okay. Gabriel. Lord Gabriel. We found this book in the basement of a burnt down church, not really guarded at all. I'm wondering its importance, other than sort of the obvious that you, the four knights, are connected to each other. You refer to each other as brothers, and we all are aware of your connection to Asher. So, what is it that you don't want it out and about, when beforehand it was beneath the earth? Nexus says this in like a really amicable way. Like, she's not saying this in like throwing barbs or anything like that. She's like, it's genuine, trying to suss this out.
He sits there and he's listening to you, Nexus, and he's watching you, and you watch that without even looking at it, he's clearly writing something down in the book in front of him. And when he's done, he kind of sets his pen down, puts his hand on it. And as he sits there, he listens to you, and he seems to think for a moment. He then almost seems just to lean back and just shake his head. Oh. Well, at least I know you're not fucking mindless. You're pissing me off, but you're not mindless. There's a reason I wanted the book. And it has very little to do with the information. Mostly because of this. And he reaches down next to his desk and he plops very heavily on his desk a very similar book, although it looks newer.
Okay.
It's much newer than the one you'd found. And you watch as he flips the catch on it and pops it open to a page. Like, you watch him like count the pages with his thumb very quickly. Like he knows every page in this book. Pops it open, and you see a much more clear version of the same thing you'd found this evening.
Okay. This honestly only confuses Nexus more, because he clearly has a much more detailed version of it. So it's like, why would this one in particular matter? I'm going to, I peer at it, but I'm going to sort of just glance over at my pack. And what's the vibe? Are we feeling like I should still negotiate that we keep the book, or are we feeling like, let's just give the book? Like, what are the vibes I'm getting from my pack?
Andre started getting much less interested when you started actively lying to him. It's kind of like whatever.
I
Kind of
just
the
wanted
same.
this to be a part of us to get something for it, because we got two things. you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I didn't
Yeah,
want to be in
once-
the position of owing.
Mm-hmm.
Once we again started lying about it and actively hiding it, Edith would have just kind of, here, I'm just petting my cat.
Amazing. Okay.
But otherwise, general vibe is just he has one. Just
Right, I'm like-
show him.
I mean, well, that's what confuses Nexus is like he has one. Why does he want? It's like very bizarre.
Magical
mean-
chef's coat pocket.
Mhm.
Cross-reference. But that's
Very
not
bizarre.
character.
Very bizarre.
It's
That's fine.
cross-reference. Seeing what's been updated.
So yeah, so Chef.
That's
pulls
the
out
only
book.
reason we would keep the book is just for Pack Rat. It's shiny. Someone else wants it, so we want it.
No, well, that's not Nexus's reason for sure, but yeah, once Chef presents it, I'm going to be peering at this book that he's showing me. What on this family tree is like most noticeable difference from the one that we found?
The biggest noticeable difference is that down where there are portraits that were scratched out, they are no longer scratched out, including a very specific one that the best way to put it is it kind of makes part of this family tree into a circle.
Oh
As
Lord,
about-
okay.
4 generations down at the very bottom, on the side of Raphael, there is a line that follows the portrait all the way up until it hits Asher, and it has one of those symbols of the 2 rings interlocked. And it has a Roman numeral next to it of 1. And then there's also other lines coming from other portraits down this family tree that lead back to Asher. They also have those, but they've been labeled 2, 3, and 4. Now, the portrait that's labeled 3 has the name Deborah. And though this is still in that illuminated manuscript imagery, the woman in it has long black hair and has a very specifically designed pale complexion. Unlike the others, it almost seems just a little bit too specific.
Doll-like.
Doll-like. Eyes are too large. It's just not correct for medieval artwork. For a person.
Yeah.
Does
it have a last name?
It does not. None of the people on here have last names of any kind.
Interesting.
Okay. Very quickly, the other ones that are numbered, are they all females or feminine presenting, or is it a mix?
It appears that 1 and 4 are, if not female, very feminine presenting, but 2, at least by medieval standards, is more than likely masculine presenting.
And you said Dolly's number 3?
Dolly is number 3.
Yes, Chef has presented the book. This might be a player mess up, but did Raphael say to get a book for Gabriel?
Yeah, I thought it
he
was
did.
just the files.
Okay.
Said
If
files. The words were said, but
Yes, this This might have also been my mistake, because I believe I meant to say the phrase, there are papers, and there's some files you would be interested in. But you're right.
Understood. Okay.
When I looked back, I did not say book, and he did not say book. But he did use the phrase,
Okay.
at least I meant to use the phrase, papers and files.
Okay.
And those are two separate things.
Okay. Okay. Next, we'll look at Lord Gabriel and say, well, there might have been a little bit of a mix-up. But here's your book. I don't know that you'll find anything more than what you already have.
And he kind of, you say that he grins. He picks the book up, and he holds it up with just 3 fingers, so that the thumb is touching the back of a cover. And you watch him basically slide his thumb against the paper of the book, so that it cuts it. And he taps his bloody thumb to the edge of the book, and you watch as very, very quickly a small sigil appears, and the book poofs into pure dust.
Understood.
And then he sort of sticks his thumb to his tongue and licks it, and the wound is gone.
And that was the old book, the one that we were given.
That was the old book. That was the book that you had all passed to him. And he shuts the bigger book, and then just looks up at all of you. And he just sort of pauses and really looks all of you over. Now, I have no idea what my brother sees in you. And I've made my decisions, but we'll see. But, thank you for your contribution to the sanctuary of the Tome. Now please, get out of my library.
Give a lingering look, and then I'll turn to leave. Don't say anything until we get out to the car. Then I sit in my, in the driver's seat, and I open up my flip phone, and I turn through the pictures until I find the image of that page with the family tree on it. And then I shut my phone and simply wait for the rest to file into the car.
And I'll just say, actually, I need wits awareness from everybody to see if you actually see this. This is one of those ones I got.
From everybody else. Oh, from everybody else. Got you.
I mean, anyone can to see this. Anyone can do it.
Oh! I thought you meant.
No, this is an outside thing.
Okay. I got you.
That's messy critical.
Oh Lord.
Good. You're good. And another
2 messy criticals.
Yo.
Well. So.
Okay.
Why is it that those of us with hunger too? Oh yeah, no. We don't go with the one that are just barely hungry. They're the ones. Oh, that beast is looking angry.
That beast's looking real angry. Okay. So, well, 2 individuals who did not messy crit. You don't see or hear anything. But Chef and Edith, both of you managed to just catch a small glimpse up on the roof of this church. There is a large shape. Kitty! God damn it. My ADHD. It's Mr. Fluffy. It's Mr. Fluffykins. But you both catch sight of a large shadow up upon the roof. Very bird-like as it lands and disappears just past it. And you take notice of it, but then immediately something just enters both of your minds. The shadow was just something about it. It just pulls at you, and your beast is terrified. You are both now under the paranoia compulsion. Vampire tries to disengage from any perceived threat, suspecting anyone and anything. Any action not taken toward the immediate end incurs 2 dice penalty. Compulsion ends when the vampire has spent roughly an hour in a safe space, rooftop with good visibility, their haven, or buried deep underground. You are both now paranoid of the giant shadow above the church and believe it is watching you.
I will pick up Mr. Fluffkins, portrayed by Riker, and like hug him really close and get into the car right away. I don't let him lay down in his spot. I'm holding him really tight.
Everything all right?
No, let's leave.
There's something up there.
Okay. I fucking, as soon as everyone's in the car. Oh yeah, once they point it out, I'm gonna fucking, hit the fucking gas and get the fuck out. But I am like looking through like my mirrors and stuff to see if this giant shadow moves.
Ooh.
Like, I don't get darkness penalties. Do I see this thing what's kind of like, oh my gosh, this shit's up there, and kind of like, what? Huh?
Unfortunately, the roll itself was to watch it before it disappears past the roof. So it is on the roof, but it is not visible after that point.
Understood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Gotcha.
so they point and we see nothing. Okay.
Yes.
So I'll fucking, I reverse and start driving, and I'm like, what are you two talking about? There ain't nothing up there.
Well, it's gone now. That's even worse.
Okay. All right. Describe to me what you saw.
A huge avian shadow.
Look the rear view mirror at Andre, and I'm like, basically giving the face of like, Raphael? Like, because that's the only big avian shadow I know of.
Have I seen Raphael become a bird, or wait, obviously has had birds before. Like a familiar bird.
No, but you have watched. Raphael is possibly the only one of the knights whose horrid form is well known, especially by his hunt runners like you. Yes, it is a very, very, very big owl creature with a very long tail.
All right. How big was the tail?
I'll
Big,
give that
really big.
Yeah, the shadow flying in. Yeah, it was a very large, long tail.
Predator long.
That might have been Raphael zipping on in, saying hello to his
Could have
brother.
also been something that Dolly made.
It sounded to me, and again, I'm fucking driving. Like I'm kind of pushing it on that speed limit, but I'm driving, and I'm like, it seemed to me, based off what Gabriel was saying, something real personal between Dolly and Raphael. Like, I don't know, maybe
Dolly
they fucked
was in that
around
book.
at one time or two. Oh yeah, I saw that too. Weird how she was connected with Asher.
With rings.
His third wife, maybe? So maybe Rafi's got mommy issues? I don't fucking know. But we better find Dolly
Sister
before they do.
Juice?
Nah, the rings. That's a marriage.
Well, it'd be more like stepmommy issues.
That,
Which is even
right.
scarier.
Oh, true. Evil stepmother vibes. They apparently had 4 partners. Dolly was the third.
Maybe she's been
She wasn't
replaced.
up
And
to
she's mad
snuff.
about it, and now she's stalking us.
Right. Oh, stalking us? No. Probably.
How can you be sure?
Very much is like, no. Probably.
See?
Right, all right. Well, we'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Look, I'm sure that Rafi wants us to find her. But I made a promise. I would prefer if the knights didn't take her from us. So, we're going to have to plan this out very carefully. And we're going to have to play it right. Otherwise, we're all fucking dead. And I can't have that. So, don't look so panicked, Edith. It's not following us. We're long gone. We're long gone. We're not even near the house anymore. I'm like attempting to soothe as I'm driving.
I want to go home and pet my cat.
Andre might go ahead and just be like, I mean, you did kind of lie to his brother straight to his face. We did. So, I mean, he might come looking after us later. It's tough to say.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned. He got his book in the end, you know? Plus, Raphael wasn't exactly clear on what he wanted. He said files, things may have gotten confused. I thought that maybe we could get a little something, but it seems Gabriel wasn't in a negotiating mood, and that's fine. Because if he really wanted to kill us, he could have, and he didn't.
A shame that this, I understand, our sect was founded on freedom from oppression from elders. Just find it ironic.
I've learned that a lot of these Canaanites are hypocrites. But it's alright. The point is you teach them a lesson. They learn. They can't shackle you if you don't let them. I am heading, by the way, ST, to the Marrow, since that's sort of our normal spot. Yeah. And it's not too far of a walking distance that just in case Edith wants to go home and pet the cat, she can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you easily head back to the Marrow. There's nothing on the way that pauses you. You're able to head back there. And I'll give you the night is probably leaning. Like, I mean, yeah, less nighttime, like closer to day than it is the beginning of the night. But you still got a good couple of hours, and that's even after, you know, both Chef can chill at the Marrow, and that consider that a safe place, and Edith can go pet some cats for an hour. So you have a good couple of hours left in the evening to do anything that you wish you could. Is there anything you would like to do?
Other than pet cats.
Other than pet cats.
Secure the building more. Just in case. Bring out some extra locks, some extra protection. Cautions. And just kind of notify the staff that we're on high alert.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if anything is out of place, like a piece of paper is in the wrong spot, you will know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna also say that by this point in the evening, we've reached midnight, so dinner's over. So I'd say the restaurant is in their process. Like, they're not having any issue closing up and locking everything down extra hard, because it's already closing procedure. You walk in, they're just and they're going full on double locking stuff, making sure everything's good, doing inventory, double checking inventory.
Yeah, as I'm talking, I have like a brush, like a toothbrush, and I'm like down on my hands and knees, like cleaning with them, and just like talking to them.
I'm definitely like just surveying from the table as they're doing the damn thing. ST, just for me to, so the ring is Maximilian's, right?
Yes.
The files were for us, and then the book obviously for Gabriel.
Yes.
Is there a way? Actually, I will look at Andre and I say, is there a way, maybe a special way, that you can get a meeting with Raphael? Way to call him to us.
There is, but only for a very good fucking reason. Usually, calling a hunt on somebody's house.
Well, his possible stepmommy might be a good reason to call. Would that be of interest to him? Call a hunt on Dolly extra hard this time?
Or we can talk to Max. We have that ring.
I mean, we'd want to make sure we know like where she actually is.
Okay.
Well,
We
she's
can
one
talk
of
to
two
him.
places, probably.
Yes. She's a little obsessed with Asha. And I pull out the files. And one of the files that had the list of addresses and where there was like the big heart with Asher in it. And I just like point that out to the group and say, maybe she's working away until she gets to him. Gabriel mentioned something about finding proof that she mattered. You're not going to find that in a family tree. So what is it that she's looking for in each of these locations? I'm guessing endgame is London.
When was that meeting with the knights?
Which
Was
meeting?
was that tonight?
This is
Asher
something
and
that
the other
Raphael.
night.
Yeah, Raphael mentioned it earlier. He'd said sort of in order all of his brothers, and then said that he was also called to London. But you're aware that you just saw Gabriel in Enfield. Meaning
Yeah.
either they were all meeting individually and it was not a unified meeting, because he's made it seem like it was that night, which is why he could not search that last
Right.
location.
Mhm.
But there's a possibility that it was a scenario of each one was being called in turn.
I see. I'm getting a sense of maybe a little bit family drama, a little bit of strife amongst the knights and the parent. And Dolly is mixed up in it.
Dolly is Chef's sire. It was already family drama.
Well, there's a look of like, oh, can't deny that. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Well, I'm thinking London is endgame, so perhaps I'll send some people to do a once-over during the day in Bromley, see what they find. And I will
Fine.
proceed to like, oh, go ahead.
An animal. Like the one we encountered tonight.
That is true. Shit. All right. Fuck. Okay. You know what? ST, I don't know what I would have to like roll for this. Here's my intention. It seems that at least what we discovered tonight, right? That these like special items were hidden here in Havering in a church that was burned down. Gabriel's sanctuaries essentially was a church, right? And it's clear that like Westminster and whatnot were also like hit. They were places that were crossed off on this address. Is there maybe a roll or something that I can do to find out what would be like an important place in Bromley that I could like associate with Like, is there a sanctuary in Bromley? Is there, an important building that would be that would matter to the knights?
There is not a sanctuary in Bromley, and Bromley is one of the locations that has been sort of up in the air lately. There is a very large independent population of gangrel in Bromley. And the knights, being, Sabbat as they are, and Asher being as he is, have tried many, many times to convince that gangrel pack to either join in or kowtow to them. And they have at many, many times gotten into fights. The leader is very well known. My brain's still working. My brain actually stopped working. What in the world? That's why my notes fell. Entirely my fault.
So,
Vincent. The leader of that gangrel pack is Vincent.
okay. Vincent. Okay.
And you are aware
Despite
that...
Go ahead. No,
you
go
are
ahead,
aware that the knight that has been, I guess, ordered to focus on Bromley is Max, as Havering and Bromley are literally right next to each other. And so Max has been ordered that, as the sanctuary of the forum, he has to be the politician.
Okay.
So there is a building near the center of Bromley that it's actually owned by Max.
Okay.
And you know that's not been accessible in these recent nights due to the large gangrel population that does not seem to be very receptive to conversation.
Okay.
How close is Max's property in Bramley to the location on the map?
It's probably only 100-foot distance. It's like right across the street. And that area in Bromley is possibly the only close-knit buildings, as most of it's agricultural.
Okay.
We can float a rumor that there is a knight infringing on their turf of all of these gangrel.
Huh.
Be a
Good
shame if
idea.
they were to help.
That is a good idea. Okay. Let's see what happens when rumors start flying about a wayward K-Knight sniffing around gangrel territory. I think taking in that advice, I will start floating that information through my contacts. And I look to Edith and I say, well, you share the same gift as those gangrels.
Why don't we just go take a look?
How many hours, real quick, SD, how many hours do we have in the night to go take a look?
I'd say it's probably a little past... it's probably 1 a.m. Sunrise is about 5.
Okay, and Bromley's not that far.
No, and it's right next to you, and in a lot of this is very short distances. The UK is not large, and this is just the greater area of one city.
Yeah. So I think that I will simultaneously sort of begin the rumor mill through my various contacts and get up and say, That's a great
Before
idea.
you do that,
Yes. I'm like,
is
paused
it a
over
good
my phone.
idea for us to start this rumor and then walk right in? Like that may
no.
work against us.
Oh, no. This rumor isn't going to hit right now. This is we just float to people who might be interested to hear. And then when they're ready to talk, they talk.
I don't know, I
And
kind of
we
feel
don't
like we're
have
poking the bear.
Well, we're talking about poking the bear without actually poking the bear. Why not get the benefit of poking the bear? No, instead of just all right.
What? Well, what would you like to do? I don't have to start a rumor. If we go
Why don't we
there,
just check it out
we
and
could go
then
and do
decide?
it.
okay. We could drive by. See what's going on? I do know that the gangrel there are not. The Canaanites there, they're not exactly receptive to us. So if we go there, there's a possibility we get into a fight. A rumor is so that we don't have to get into a fight. I'm down
Andre
to
will
throw
go
hands.
ahead and just start grinning, kind of like, you're saying that as if a fight isn't a perfect way to get into Gangrel's good graces.
I'm down for a fight. I don't mind throwing hands. Let's drive by. We'll see what we see.
Yeah, let's
I
try.
will pause. I will pause on my rumor mill, and I will we'll get back into the car to drive by, see what's going on over there.
We'll say it doesn't take very long to get down there and to travel along the road. And you're just coming in to drive by this small area that's just a lot of housing and things, like a barn and farm, really close together to each other. The address on the actual map is a very small shop, actually. It looks like some form of general store. Obviously closed, it's the middle of the night. And across the way, the building that Max owns is a large, very large farmhouse. And shockingly, at 1 maybe 15 in the morning right now, all the lights are on. Middle floor and the top floor, all lights are on. And there are about 6 cars sat outside the building, all large SUVs, one very large truck that has a trailer with 2 motorcycles on it. There seems to be a lot of people in that home.
We should go peek in the window.
All right. I cut the lights off. I'll park a little ways away, and then get out the car so we can take a peek, see what happens.
And I assume you're trying to sneak your way over there?
I am, in fact, trying to sneak my way over there. And as I start to, like
Vampire freaks.
I am the only one here. When I start sneaking, the shadows seem to kind of cling, and I'm shadow run sneaking, boys.
Hey, that shadow jutsu.
Alright,
Yeah.
stealth and dexterity.
For everyone, I assume.
For everyone.
Mhm.
Unless you have something else, like an obfuscate that I didn't know about.
It's not obfuscate. It's just the obtain information
You spooky shadow of the man.
or oblivion. Whatever.
I roused the blood, and I also have a specialty in stealth called light-footed. So. Lord have mercy. Let us
Ooh.
use that willpower reroll, because what the fuck, brother? Okay, much better.
All of them dice.
All
And
of
for
them
what?
dice. And for what?
Well, I still got 4 successes, but
As did I.
Yeah,
Oof.
I
That's
think
a
I'm gonna
willpower
You
reroll.
got
need to use
yeah,
my
Chef and Edith both got 1.
Yeah, I'm
You
using
know
a
what?
willpower
I
reroll.
have enough I can roll. Hold on.
I'll say you guys are going as a group.
Damn it.
Oh, he didn't have the hardest time.
You got a crit.
I
you
did
got
get a
crit.
crit though. That bumps it up to 6 successes. So, yay! I can be spoopy.
I got a 4.
Spoopy time. You got a
Yeah.
4.
Apparently I am not. I got 1.
Which
Oh dear.
Which-
Ooh.
Alright.
feels
Oh,
cruel
crap.
considering. Yeah, exactly. Like it feels cruel considering the cat. Like
Now I'm gonna let this be. There is a group DC to this in a way, and DC. There's a group difficulty to this as you all going together. I will not tell you the results just yet. So you all, as quiet as you can, approach the outside of this house, and now that you're a little closer and out of the car, you can definitely hear. There's like a gentle thudding music, like some kind of rock music. Definitely something low, but very bassy. As you're approaching, and you look inside, you get to actually look inside one of the windows, and you see a lot of very large people. Very muscular, a lot of blue collar, thick, just, people who... they could probably deck most people. And they're all sitting there drinking something out of solo cups. There is like 4 large, what appear to be like the coolers with a tap on them that they're using to pour into it. And there is 2 gentlemen in this main room who are sat across from each other and are, of all things, arm wrestling. One of them is a very broad-shouldered man with chestnut brown hair, a lot of scars along his neck leading down into his back. Muscular face, clean-shaven. The other man, full beard, very, very bright red hair, very pale, very ginger, and also similarly very muscled and scarred in various other places. And a lot of these scars, they look like claw marks, scratches, things going down their bodies. And those 2 are basically locked in an arm wrestle. And eventually, it does seem like in this moment, one of them wins. He proceeds to grab and slam the other man so hard they snap the table they're on. And you watch this table just fall to pieces. And it is the redhead who wins. And he stands up and he actually steps on the other man in a very aggressive display. And you hear a loud group of laughter. And the other man, he kind of gets up once he's let go, spits blood onto the ground, sits up, and he just looks furious. And he begins to go storming towards what would be the front door. And I'll say you all snuck up to about the side of the building to see this front room. So he goes storming towards the front door, seemingly headed outside. Are you going to continue watching the festivities, or
what do we want to do? Max is saying as she's watching this person walk towards the door.
I say blow the straggler.
All right then. Yeah, when homie walks fucking out the door, I suppose we materialize out of the darkness. Just fucking bloop. Hi.
I think.
Wait for him to get away.
oh.
Wait for him to get away. No, alright.
Go ahead. We're
Was he going
gonna
towards a car? I guess was the question.
The gentleman walks out of the house, kind of across the gravel. He stops about the center point and just sort of sighs really hard, and you watch him kind of roll his neck, roll his shoulders, and it's it's one of those moments where even under he has a rather tight t-shirt, and under the t-shirt, you notice, a few too many muscles move in his back. And he just sort of stretches his back a little bit more. And he starts walking his way towards the truck with the trailer. And is going to unhook the back of it. To get to one of the motorcycles, it seems.
Is there any way that we can tell if he is kind or kindred?
Or lupine.
Or I guess the question is kindred or werewolf.
Yeah. That might be.
Or
yeah. Does he smell funny to us?
I suppose that's wits awareness, just scent. I don't know. I'd say wits awareness to try to. Or actually, I'm lying. I will allow occult and intelligence.
Hey, yo.
You allow wits and awareness too, right?
Yeah.
Yes. You can do either one. It's gonna be a little. Okay. It's difficult either way, but.
Yeah.
It's the same roll for me either way.
I think you should be able to tell, given some things.
I hate everything.
Occult and what? Intelligence? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. Or wits and awareness.
Or wits and awareness, gotcha. Whichever is bigger. It's up to you.
We are not destined. Jesus. We're not destined to know. Except for
Edith and Chef. Edith, you weirdly enough have a much easier time at this. As the man is reaching for his stuff, he kind of moves like he hears something, and you watch him like scan around. And you're very aware that right now it is very dark outside. The clouds have moved in, the moon is not very visible, and it's pretty damn dark, and he's not really struggling to see. And when he turns his eyes, there is a very subtle, icy blue glow about them. And you register that that's Eyes of the Beast. This is a K-Knight.
So I think it's safe to assume that this is a pack of that gangrel. Partying.
It's a pretty good shot that this is that pack.
Partying in Max's house.
Yes.
Yeah. The gangrels are in Max's house throwing a fucking party. Oh, you're gonna approach? Okay.
Chef, you're just gonna walk up to the gentleman?
Yep. As if he has
that's a good idea.
I'm scared, but that's fine. You do what you gotta do. I'm behind you, you know what I'm saying? Slowly slipping on brass knuckles, just in case.
Chase, what did you say you asked him?
Hey, do you have a light?
Man kind of pauses, like he had looked back down at what he was doing. He kind of jolts for a minute and looks over at you, just, what are you doing here? A light?
Asking you for a lighter.
Sorry, bud. Don't smoke and I don't go fire on me. There any particular reason you're out here this late? And he kind of sniffs the air at you.
I'll flash my fangs.
Oh, shit. I don't know which of the three bullshits you're from, but come on, man. I'm not looking for a fucking fight.
No, I'm not looking to fight either. Just saying that, hey, I'm in the area, and there is someone that me and my friends are looking for that is a lot of trouble. Just her being here endangers everyone in this town. Of the blood or not. You know.
Oh, I'm trying to think of like what this role is for you, Chef. goodness, what is this roll?
I could do a manipulation if you would like.
No. There's a different roll going on here.
Oh,
You can
okay,
roll
okay.
manipulation, but he's listening to you. There's a different roll though. I need you to be able to reach into your memory.
Sure. What is that? Composure and resolve is that?
Yeah,
That
I think it's
feels
composure and
right.
resolve, I believe. Yeah, roll composure and resolve. Let's see if you can pull this from it.
3.
That's enough.
Oh, nice.
You're looking at this man and talking to him, and he's talking back. And now that you're much closer, you look at those ice blue eyes,
Mhm.
his hair, and something starts to click. You know this man. You've met him before. You were catering a party he was at. This man's been at one of Max's parties. Up where you are, in his actual mansion. It was only for
I
a little
remember
bit,
him.
and
Okay, I'm sorry.
no, I was just saying it was only for a little bit, and you never like talked to him. You don't know his name, but you recognize him.
Gotcha. You were at Max's party, right?
Yeah. You're his caterer, right?
I am his caterer.
Yeah. I'm at Max's parties a lot, actually. You said you're down here, and you said she, right?
My sire. In the spirit of honesty.
Yeah. Actually. Yeah. Spirit honesty. Max actually told me about you guys. I should be coming down here. Or you probably would end up down here. Didn't think it'd be
Very
soon,
interesting.
but hey. Yeah, you're looking for what the fuck do you all call her? We call her something else.
I would love to know what you call her.
Witch bitch?
Witch bitch. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna write that down. We call her Dolly.
Ugh, accurate. Frustratingly so, but yeah. Yeah, we gotta bite the heads off some of our doll beasts all the time.
I could give you her real name. She would hate it.
I don't think Max ever told me that one. Then again, I never really asked.
Deborah. Could you imagine?
Oh. Next time I'm tearing off one of her doll beast's neck, I'll see if maybe I can get through it to her. Call her that. That'd be pretty funny.
She, and I point to the building, she had a location marked on her, in one of her safe houses, and that is the location.
He is listening to you. He's actually very calm as he's talking to you. And the minute you point to that and says that's one of her safe houses, he blinks, looks over in kind of shock, and then he very quickly jolts his head back to the house. And it's almost kind of like he's doing a full-on beautiful mind equations math of, huh?
Yeah.
That
She's
building?
probably watching. Yes, she's probably watching all of you and has tabs. Feel free. We're gonna go there shortly. The more the merrier. So if I could persuade you, that's probably in your best interest as well, and all of your interests.
Are you really sure it's that building?
Without a doubt.
Then you're not gonna want to go anywhere near the rest of them. And he kind of nods to the house.
Why?
That building belongs to Vincent.
Well, Vincent should know that he has unwanted company.
Yeah, I'm not.
Be doing Vincent a favor, right?
If it was any other night, I'd maybe tell him. But I'll go. I can be an extra hand.
Why don't you bring your friends? I mean, you're
Huh.
more than willing.
They
More
ain't
than
my friends in
welcome to
there.
join us.
They're not your
They're not
friends
your
either.
friend. Who are they?
Bunch of cowards. That's what they are.
I think this is when Nexus will sort of step out of the darkness to stand just behind Jeff. And I say, "Hey, friend. Those guys over there, they don't know that you go to Max's parties, do they?"
He leans against the trailer he was opening, kind of sighs, and he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a pack of cigarettes, pops them open, and pops a lighter out of it, takes a cigarette, and lights it. And obviously, y'all don't breathe. So clearly he's forcing this breath in and out of his body through just sheer movement. But he seems almost like it's practiced and meditative is the best thing you could say is look on his face. No, they don't. They don't know a lot about me. Or the fact that I don't follow any of the two other dumbasses. Don't follow them. I'm more like you.
Great.
I actually know what the fuck a K-Knight is.
That's good to hear. So, they're all scared to go over there because it's owned by... What was his name? Vincent. That's right, Vincent. Okay. You've been hanging out with them. Anything kind of hit your ears that maybe there is someone in there that Vincent's hiding?
I don't know if there's anyone in there, but I know someone's been making Vincent stronger. The motherfucker never used to be able to beat me like that. I don't know how long you guys have been out there, but I think you watched him throw me through a fucking table.
Yeah, I just give a look, where I'm like, it's her, or at least he's somehow getting something special. Well, if you don't mind, we're going to take a little look-see. Care to join?
Well, he's gonna leave that shit party anyway, so might as well do something.
Good.
And
I think I just low, very low, barely there whistle of you guys can come out of the shadows now. Because I know they're still hidden.
just call.
Before I step out, I'm a pretty small person, but I'm gonna try and stand taller, wider. I'm gonna fluff up.
Yes.
Try and look bigger as I walk out.
Wonderful.
Andre is not gonna try poofing. He's just gonna just meander on out, calm as can be.
Covered in shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All right then.
As you all prepare to head over, he takes one last drag of that cigarette, but he was very much forcing it through, so that thing went down fast. drops it to the ground, he stumps it out, and he looks to you all and just says, "I'm Anton. Nice to meet you." And with that, we are going to call an end to today.
Hey.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you all for playing. My brain is slowly falling apart. This was our premiere, and goodness knows, I am a nervous elder god. But let's see. We are gonna go in order of. Oh goodness, do I actually have everyone's thing? You know that moment where I suddenly realized I don't know if I have the exclamation points for everybody?
Hey, it happens. Whoops. We can always have it for next week.
We may have to wait till next week for me to do those. I just realized that. Sorry, guys. But hey, we can say everyone's names. Everyone can say their spiels. So we're gonna go in order
How
of.
odd! I was just having naughty thoughts about you.
What the fuck was that? Who dies? I just heard something.
Oh God! I hope everyone's okay.
Yeah, no, I have no idea what I just heard. Alright, I'm sorry. I got distracted because I don't know what that was. I don't know where it was in my fucking computer. I'm very nervous. I think
Lord.
Was that a fucking Bloodlines thing? Did something go off? Pardon.
Oh, maybe.
It's that shadow.
It's that La Sombra, you know?
It's the La Sombra vibes. I'm scared. Sorry.
Hey.
We're going to go in order of the person who, as far as I'm aware, has been on the least amount of Table of Horrors games. Chef, who are you, and why do you exist?
Hey, this is my first one.
Hell yeah.
So, I'm really happy to be here. Guest spotting. It's been awesome. My name is Chase, or Black Coffee Chase. You can find me on the internet, and I'm usually at Lanyap Gaming, where I do fun stuff. I a storyteller and player. But that's it. That's me.
Also, Pixie has expressed it was one of my tabs was unmuted, and it was the follower thing. I didn't know it was the Bloodlines line. That's a new thing I had learned. That was terrifying. Next is doing brain power. I want to say Andre. Who are you and why do you exist?
Hello, everyone. I am Lord Radon, and I play Andre DeCow here on Thursdays. I play Cloudburst in our Shadowrun game on Mondays, and I can occasionally be hiding around several other friendo streams during the weekends and other times during the week. But hey, and I lurk, mostly lurk so far.
Woo! I don't know if I'm even correct on this one. Edith, who are you and why do you exist?
Well, are you counting time on Table of Horrors or number of games?
Number of games.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. But time-wise, I am OG. I've been here since the beginning. I am Ms. Hearts. You can find me just about anywhere as Ms. Hearts. I am going to stick my link tree over in chat. If you are in the Austin area, I'm going to be in a few shows coming up, including Geekgasm at Kickbutt Coffee this Saturday. It is a tabletop-themed show called And Justice for Eddie. And I am doing a Toreador-inspired number. So if you're in Austin, you should stop by and check that out. I will also be with the Bat City Bombshells on October 21st at Come and Take It Live. That is our Tits or Treats Halloween show. And then the week after that, I will be in Bastrop doing a Pretty in Pink drag Halloween show. Otherwise, if you need graphic designer promotional products, check out gibopromo.com.
Alright, really quickly, I realized, haha, I can use the ones from Shadowrun. While I ask, Nexus, who are you and why do you exist? I'm gonna pop this one in, because it also has Lanyap in it.
Hey, hi guys. You know me. I'm all over the internet as the Risa Rave. Why I exist? To make very poor choices. But the good thing about a Sabbat game is you don't have to apologize for it. And you can, you find me here on Mondays playing Morningstar, the cybernetic snake lady, in our Shadowrun game. Obviously here every other Thursday playing Nexus. And then on Fridays, you will see me playing Acheron, the Sinitsi. And then you can also find me at Lanyap Gaming. We have a bunch of our VODs and stuff over on YouTube, so go check that out. Where you can see Chase being our storyteller in our Blood and Jazz game, and then sometime in the near future, you'll be seeing me be a storyteller in Blood and Jazz, the prequel. And hopefully you'll enjoy that as well. I also do spicy content if you're into that sort of thing. But all that I ask is that you be respectful.
Be respectful, or we will come for you with a shovel.
Mm-hmm.
Or claws.
Also, Blood and Jazz,
guns.
fucking great
There's-
dog. Shit's awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, hey.
And finally, the very confused Elder God. Of course, mine doesn't work for some reason.
No.
Well, I don't know why that. I swear to God, that's mine, right? Oh, now it worked. All right.
There you go. 'Twas lagged.
Again, hi, I'm Softonomicon. I am the Elder God who cannot get through anything without a little bit of scuff. Oh goodness, I bring it here. On Table of Horrors on Mondays, I run the Shadowrun game as the Cosmic GM. Here on every other Thursday, I will be running Blood Price, our VTM Sabbat game. I'm always the Cosmic GM, so that's just going to count to that. This is who I am. Soon to come is another thing, where this is every other Thursday, and then the Thursdays on the interim, there will be another game premiering in about 2 weeks. Super secret special stuff. That'll be the video and teasers for that will be showing up on TikTok and such, and I'll figure out how to make a Twitter for it or something. Twitter's me. On my own channel, I am an artist and I play video games. I have a Patreon where I'm currently working on a coloring book, The Periodic Table of Monsters, which I have been told many times by Marissa that is very good, and I'm very proud of it.
Get it! It's amazing.
Where as long as I keep up on my good shit and my drawing tablet doesn't kick out on me, you will get a new drawing page every single month. And that is only for $3. I should just say that. It is a $3. That's it. And you get a bunch of coloring pages. It's fun. Other than that, I only request, hey, support me if you want. Support Table of Horrors. Where's my... Putting links for Table of Horrors in there now. I'm Shiv's Hedgehog husband. He was in chat earlier. I love you dearly. You are my love if you're there. I don't think I have anything else in my brain. And because...
You also do commissions.
I do commissions, yes. The little model you see now, I drew that. This overlay, I drew that. I can do graphic design, overlays, video stuff, and artwork. I've actually expanded what I can fucking do. I'm absolutely screaming in my brain right now. I think I've gotten everything.
What we're saying is, your life is not complete unless you own commissions by Softy.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, truly.
Get on it.
Please come get a commission from the Femboy Elder God. I promise they are glorious. At least I hope. We are gonna be going a raiding on Lost Tribes Gaming. They're playing tabletop. Why does that say? Is this some Street Fighter stuff? What in the world? That sounds cool. I don't know. I just see Street Fighter on the up thing. So we're gonna go raiding on them. We can't go until our newest member, Chef, says the line.
Random line. Just a random thing.
Random line.
Oh, okay. I was like, what am I even saying? And that's the line. Praise King.
Bingo bango. There we go.